Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto has senju and water would release. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by the Gulage A717 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Senju Naruto, Mokuta no Senin. Prologue, October 10th, on Hagakure, Hokage's tower. Sarutobi Hiruzen, known as the Shinobi no Kami, pinched the bridge of his nose. Not an hour ago, his predecessor and successor, Namikaze Minato, died in front of him and his students. Well, his two loyal students, that counts. He gave his life to imprison the giant rampaging fox known as the Kyuubi. But what shocked everyone was into who he sealed the said fox, his own and only son, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto kept his mother's maiden name to escape from his father's enemies. The problem was, who would adopt the kid? His advisors were out of question. The clan's heads were also out of question. He wanted to adopt him personally. Unfortunately, he knew that he have no right because of that accursed council. He thought about it for hours. The kid had the burden to be the jailer of the strongest Biju. Worse was the fact that only he and his now late predecessor knew that the fox was not separated but rather full. They also knew that Madara, or someone who claimed to be Madara, was dead thanks to Minato's Rasengan being a bit overcharged. I think that Minato had a bad feeling. What a waste. He was a good lad. Kawako, what do you think? Should I really tell those two to adopt him? Naruto. That poor kid was orphaned and he didn't even reach his first hour. Hiruzen knew many bad things, but he knew that this kid, who should be considered a hero, may succumb in fast with no family. He knew how orphans could be treated badly, and that was exactly why he decided to do what he planned. I'm glad that Tsunade came back. With her experience as a medic nin and her being this close to the kid, that ought to be something Kami-sama planned for this child. Also, he looked at me with a rare happiness. Asuma, why did you grow up so fast, son? Hiruzen sighed at the memories he had about his wife, how they dated each other, how Tobirama encouraged him to show her all the love he can. How she supported him as he was announced the Hokage. How he had his first son and his youngest, Asuma. Her death left a scar on him. He prayed for her, Kushina's and Minato's soul, while praying that the one who cost him everything may suffer like he suffered. So, now Inu will come in about 3, 2, 1. Hokage-sama, is Mayatato here? Yes he is, Kakashi. Did you found them? I did, Hokage-sama, they won't take too long. Kakashi removed his mask, well, his Anbu mask, as he walked toward his sensei's son. How are my little bundle of sunshine? Oh, who's the adorable little kawaii baby? It's you. I hope you'll grow to surpass your uncle Tsukumo, may he rest in peace, and your— Kakashi stopped mid-sentence as he broke down in tears. He just remembered everything. Hokage-sama, please, I request a little vacation. Hiruzen narrowed his eyes, but he didn't say anything. He simply noted at the young Anbu. I understand, Kakashi-kun. You shall have a 1-month vacation. Is that good for you? Hi, Hokage-sama. I didn't want to, but I think that'd be the safest thing to do. Did anyone wanted to adopt Naruto? I hope they won't refuse. Hiruzen-sensei, what do you need from us? Kakashi saluted the two Sannin as he left behind himself a swirl of leaves. Hiruzen signed to his two students to take a seat each. As they did, the old man told them what exactly he wanted from them. Jiraiya, Tsunade, as you two know, we each lost someone close to us. I lost my wife. You two lost a student each. But we have an urgent matter. This child here is their legacy. Minato-kun asked us one thing. That Naruto be viewed as a hero. But judging from this village's reaction, I don't think they will. Jiraiya muttered some curses under his breath while Tsunade showed many emotions, anger, sorrow, regret. She now have but one choice. It was clear that her and Jiraiya's grandson needed them the most now more than ever. I will adopt him, sensei. If this old excuse of a pervert still want to help me, he's always welcome at the Senju compound. But if he doesn't want to, it's also fine by me. Tsunade-hime, why do you want to do this? I mean, I'll help whenever I'll have time with my godson's training, but we both know that I never raised any child before. Much less a toddler. I'm sorry if I may not be always here with you at your side, Haim, but I swear to Kami-sama himself that I will do my best to be the father he never had and the grandfather he deserves so much. I swear that I will never let him give his hand to anyone. I swear that I'll make him a great shinobi and a great man. Tsunade and Hiruzen looked astonished to say the least how serious Jiraiya was in his vow. Tsunade almost cried as she knew exactly why her teammate, friend and old lover was this serious. Jiraiya-kun, I'm sorry if I almost cost you our son. It was my fault. If you'll propose to me this time, I won't refuse. You wanted redemption from your loss of our only son. Our handsome, strong and kind son, Minato-kun. Alright, Tsunade-hime, you have no problem with this, do you? I mean, I know I neglected you and you know who in the past. Jiraiya, I suppose not. Look, do what you must do. Naruto will never feel that he's alone nor unwanted. I will make sure of that as the Hokage. Jiraiya and Tsunade decided to reveal their legacy and secret to Hiruzen. Just after the legal guardianship was stamped in approval, Jiraiya and Tsunade told Hiruzen how Minato was their son. They told him everything. The old Hokage sighed in frustration at this. He always had a suspicion about Minato's origin. But this was too much in a single night. Alright, look, Jiraiya, Tsunade, if I were you, I would train Naruto-kun at 3. Trust me, that would be the best idea you guys may do. Thank you sensei for everything. I think I must go and see Shizune. She must be worried sick out of her mind now. As Tsunade left with her grandson adopted son, Jiraiya stayed to talk with his mentor about many things. Tsunade's decision brought many things to light. He needed to uncover them all. By the way sensei, you never told me how you came to this office this fast. I mean, as the previous Hokage, which laws did you pass under the table? Hiruzen chuckled evilly as he shook his head. 2 new laws. First is the maximum age for an advisor. The second is who's the real law in the village. Aren't you afraid of the mummy? I mean he was your rival, right? That's why I need you and Tsunade as my new advisors. The problem would be that in 3 years, you two will need to work again. Also, I figured that in 3 years period, Naruto-kun may get the support he needs in order to rise to a legend one day. With that much power inside him, the clock is ticking Jiraiya. I know what you do mean, sensei. I mean, in time, maybe he'll force the whole world to be at peace again. I don't know yet. By the way, that Uchiha Minato killed, it turned out that I know who he is. He was, unfortunately, his late student, Uchiha Obito. Jiraiya was shocked how a supposedly dead Uchiha raised from the grave and did all that on his own. I see sensei. That means that Naruto may not enjoy his childhood too much now that he could have some enemies going after him, am I wrong? You're not wrong, Jiraiya. I think we need to do something about it, that's it. I think we'll need to train him and I might be right, he may even have a Kekkei Genkai. Who knows? He may take the Senju name to a higher place than anyone else. Maybe even Konoha's name. I hope no one would be stupid enough to do anything to make him hate the village sensei. I mean, who knows how strong this kid would be. With a legacy of 3 of the best Konoha's ninjas, he may be fated to be the best shinobi ever born in Konoha. Naruto-kun will know me as his grandfather, Jiraiya. I may be an old man and I can't show any favoritism, but that doesn't mean I can't do anything for him. Now, the problem at hand is the lack of wind user specialist. Maybe well, I will write a book about it and I hope your publisher won't say anything about it. No, he won't. Remember my old Fuinjutsu book? I mean he did accept to publish it and I donated it to Konoha's Shinobi library. I know. It was a failure but to some jonins. They don't even know what's a good shinobi art is. Ignorance was never a bliss. It's a curse. Amen to that, my student. Amen to that. Senju compound. Sometime later, Shizune prepared her senbon luncher only to realize that the intruder was not a hostile. Oh. It's just you, Jiraiya-sama. Lovely and cute as always, Shizune-chan wait a second, what do you mean by it's only me? Shizune giggled as she watched her mentor's friend facial expression. The man showed mock anger. It was clearly fake to her as he continued. By the way, where is Tsunade Haim? I thought she'd take care of my little Gaki. She's feeding him now. And that's why I can't allow you in. What do you mean you can't allow me in? Oh, you mean, breastfeeding. Shizune blushed a crimson shade upon hearing Jiraiya's correct guess. She figured that if he'll step in, her mentor won't think twice before killing the man. That was the last thing she needed. Jiraiya may be a pervert with no equal, but that wasn't enough reason to let him die. That's exactly why I can't let you in, Jiraiya-sama. I mean, we need you to live, at least for Naruto-kun. He needs you, more than you may think. Of course he does. I mean, who'll teach him the most important things in his life later on? Shizune giggled at this. Jiraiya can be lecherous, stubborn, greedy, a foolish drank, but he can't allow himself to break his sense of honor. It was a matter of honor for the man, more than a matter of pride. That meant that he won't stop until he did said. But I want Naruto-kun to stay an innocent child as much as possible. Jiraiya sighed. Again, he was misjudged. He shook his head a moment before he replied. I meant my secret Fuinjutsu and maybe Senjutsu one day, but we'll talk about that later. For now, I meant to teach him about life, love, and many other things. Shizune's eyes widened upon hearing this. To learn Naruto Senjutsu meant that the kid would be almost invincible. She knew that since Tsunade once told her about her strongest teammate being Jiraiya thanks to that particular art. And here's the master of the said art telling her that her surrogate little brother could learn it, even as a baby. This won't be good for many people. Especially Orochimaru one day, the land of lightning, and the land of earth. She heard that the land of water was currently troubled. But she have no idea what would happen eventually. Why would you go this far, Jiraiya-sama? I mean, is he related to you? Jiraiya sighed as he mentally thought how right Shizune was. He wanted to reply and tell her, yet he couldn't. After a brief struggle, he finally told her half the truth. Well, you know that I was an orphan like him. So, I won't let him suffer like I did. He may or may not attend the academy, but I won't stay idly as his potential as a shinobi gets wasted. I know it's too early to talk about it, but trust me if I tell you that this village may hold a grudge against him. So, you'll be his father, Jiraiya. Tsunade appeared before them while she had the now sleeping baby in her arms. Jiraiya smiled warmly as he saw his grandson sleeping peacefully. This was one of the rare moments of peace he wanted for so long. If he didn't have his spy network, he would never leave. Yes, Tsunaheim. I won't fail again. This I swear. I hope not. Oh, and I won't allow anyone to harm my little Naru-chan. No matter who they think they are. Unfortunately, Haim, I might not always be here. You know about my spy network. But whenever I'll have time, I'll be here. So, this is goodbye for now, then. Jiraiya looked one last time to the woman he loved ever since he can remember and still loved. He sighed in sorrow and frustration as he knew that he might disappear for a long time. He then smiled at the fact that Naruto have a family that would give him his rightfully deserved love. For now, yes. I would always love you, Haim. Before, now, and to my last breath. Well, see you next time. Show Naruto what he deserves the most in this world. When I'll be back, I'll spend all the time I would have with him and you. Take care, Tsunade Haim. After one last glance, Jiraiya went off with a shunshin. Tsunade smiled as she rocked the now giggling baby who tried to reach for her. The woman smiled fondly at her grandson attempt to reach for her face. 3 years later, Senju compound, Kakashi smiled behind his mask how Naruto was getting along quite well with his ninkens. Pakin especially was talking with the kid about many things he would normally only talk to Kakashi himself about. That was saying something. Kakashi mused how Naruto was the reason he changed to the best. That kid can be very active sometimes, yet lazy some other times. If he'd make a wild guess, he'd say that they're related. He chuckled how they were related. Maybe not by blood, but their relation as siblings can be obvious somehow. Kakashi even started dating a young chunin a bit older than him named Kurenai since some weeks ago. That woman may dislike perverts, but truth be told, there's no man that's not a pervert, even for one single woman, right? Kakashi also thought how Tsunade almost shocked him to death when she saw his gift to Naruto 3 months ago was an orange book. Of course she mistook it for a certain book that have the same color. Fortunately, Naruto was able to show her that it was a book about shuriken jutsu. Tsunade apologized to Kakashi but lectured him on what and what not to give to a 3 years old. Naruto have also made his first friend. Well, kind of made his first friend. The kid was strolling on his way back from visiting the Hokage. He didn't notice how Kakashi was watching him, just in case. When he saw how his surrogate little brother walked the Hyuga heiress back home and left her at the door, his ears in the anbu kicked in as her father got out. Kakashi soon walked in the shadows watching Naruto who went back home. He swore that he heard Tsunade kind of scold the kid about staying out late and lecturing him about the dangers of the village. He grew up so fast, don't you think so, Tsunade-sama? Tsunade was stunned how Kakashi felt her approaching him. This shock however didn't last more than a split second. I guess. He's been bugging me about learning a jutsu or two. I think he must learn to jutsu, for now at least. I swear he can be like his father sometimes. I mean, he finished the last technique in the book yesterday. That was fast. It took me a week more than this to be honest, Tsunade-sama. So, no clan head or heir visited yet. Only Uchiha Mikoto and her older son, Itachi. That kid reminds me a lot of Madara only he's not a cold arrogant jerk like that monster. I know. Itachi is one of the few Uchihas I can tolerate. He looks like his father yet he's a lot like his mother. I told him to put her above anyone and anything else. Somehow I'm feeling sorry for the Uchihas. I mean, many of them are accused of trying to follow Madara's path sometimes. Well, we both know if it was Aji-sama who betrayed this village, no one would be here right now. I mean, he had that Kikei Genkai that was considered stronger than any Dojutsu's ability. Just the name alone can make any shinobi tremble with fear. I heard how the Shodai cages were considered to be almost the strongest, but Hashirama-sama was considered to be on a league of its own. Ha-chan. Kakashi Naichin. Iro Tauchin. Naruto's happy call reminded them that the kid does have a sharp eyesight for a human. Maybe it was a perk of his condition. Maybe he does have some naturally acute senses. Jiraiya-sama. The tall white-haired man smiled fondly at the sight before him. Shizune was at the hospital most likely. That left him one thing to say and do. Hey there Haim, Kakashi, dear little Gaki of Asachi. Naruto, how many times I told you to call me just Two-chan? Naruto lauded sheepishly at his adoptive father's dismay. Too many times. I lost count Adebayo. Tsunade shook her head about her son's verbal tic. Truly, he grew up faster than she thought. She remembered how he took his first steps. Mostly motivated by his will to reach her. His first word was Ka-chan, he was her hope of redemption. She saw Nawaki and Minato at his place sometimes and cried a bit. Whenever she cried, her adorable blonde kid cried unconsciously. That's not the point. Anyway, it's time for me to get more involved in your training. I mean, I heard you're learning Shuriken Jutsu. I just finished the book's last step yesterday. Jiraiya watched how his grandson was embarrassed and blushing. The Toad Sage lauded as he complimented the boy. Wow, I never heard of this before. You definitely learn fast, it seems. I mean, you were able to beat a genius this easily. Anyway, did you master all the techniques written? Not just replicate, I mean. Naruto nodded heartily as he pulled off some shuriken and threw them with a great precision without even turning at a blind spot. Kakashi's eye widened at this. At 3 years old was able to pull off one of the hardest moves. Seriously? How hard did the kid was trained? What kind of talent does this kid have? So, it was bad. I mean, I'll work even harder to master it, Dadabayo. Kakashi interrupted everyone upon hearing this. Naruto, the only thing remained for you to be better is to pull off about 3 other shuriken jutsu techniques. 2 of them are ninjutsu. The last is a fuinjutsu. So, yeah. You may think it's bad, but I've seen chunins lose months to do this move. So, yeah. You did great. Fantastic even. For a 3 years old, you're sensational, Naruto. Sent what? He meant cool, Naru-chan. Naruto blushed under the praise. He actually spent weeks to practice that move. It was the hardest thing he ever did in his short life. And to hear that he didn't mess up made his heart rejoice with happiness. Arigato, Nai-chan. Well, Naru-chan, lesson number 2, Taijutsu. It seems that you'll need to build both your power and speed first. Jiraiya, any ideas? Jiraiya shook his head. He wanted to train Naruto badly. Yet he was afraid of hurting the boy. However, when he asked his mentor about it, the old Hokage advised him to teach the boy the basics and focus on them the most. Tsunade, you know better about the katas. I mean, you're the one who know about Shadai-sama and Nidame-sama the most. I can't teach him the Kawaza kata, Frog Fu, yet. I never wanted this to happen. I wanted him to have a normal childhood. Naruto pouted at this. He really enjoyed training more than anything. Only when he played with his family was more fun for him. But Ka-chan, I really want to train. Please. Tsunade almost glumped him or pinched his cheeks. She decided against, for now at least. Alright Naru-chan. I'll show you the katas. But only the katas. And so, Naruto's training begun. For the next 3 years, the blonde senju would learn the basics of many shinobi arts. 3 years later, senju compound, yet again. Naruto panted heavily. He unlocked his chakra. Finally he did something he waited for a long time to do. He also had some nightmares sometimes about a giant mountain-sized 9-tailed fox. However, he protected a certain girl twice from boys older than himself who were bullying her. The blonde senju smiled fondly at that particular memory. He did it because he had to. Naruto smiled again as he saw that girl. He may not be her friend as a technical term, but at least he was able to be a bit closer. However, it seems that his trial caught him. And fatigue soon claimed him as he fell forward, only to be caught by a certain silver-haired jonin. Oh no, you don't fall on my watch. Kakashi Naichin. Good, you're hairy. Kakashi sighed as he carried the boy in his arms to the compound's main house. As Tsunade greeted him, he simply smiled. However, he had one question on his mind. Is it normal for someone who unlocked his chakra to produce a visible shroud of it with a green hue? Tsunade's eyes widened upon hearing this. The woman almost fell to her knees if she didn't help herself. Well, figuratively at least. It can't be. Not that cursed bloodline again. I have no idea, Kakashi. By the way, say hi to Kurenai for me. Kakashi immediately shunshined without uttering a single word. The next day, the academy. Tsunade was walking Naruto to the academy. Her cute little Sachi was smiling with joy. He really wanted to have a friend. Civilians were out of question for him, as most of them were shallower bullies. Clan heirs, however, was a whole another question. As he lazily took a nap through the ceremony, many of the clan heirs and heiresses looked at this kid. Some with questions, some with respect, some with admiration, a certain Hyuga. As the usual spar between two kids to showcase the abilities took place between Senju Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke, Naruto gave his hand to Sasuke, who immediately shook it. Let's show them which is the greatest clan. The Uchiha or the Senju. How about a bet? You lose, you became my friend. I lose, I tell you something you're interested in. Sasuke smiled. For once, he hoped the spar to end in a tie. He didn't voice this however. Deal. Let's show this people. No holding off. Naruto smirked. Oh, how he's gonna love to be tied to the brother of Uchiha Itachi, one of the best chunins for ages. Imi no Iruka signaled for the fight to begin. Immediately, Naruto and Sasuke were exchanging blow for blow. Naruto was slightly stronger, but also slightly slower. The fight went for several minutes until the two kids landed a solid hit on each other. Like they both wished, it ended up in a tie. Not bad. You hit like a hammer, you know that. Better than a whip anyway. Whatever you say, Tonkatchi, hammer. Yeah sure, Muchi, whip. Tsunade soon lauded at this scene where Mikoto apologized from her mentor's teammate. Tsunade didn't take any offense, but it seems that Naruto and Sasuke were much more of Kushina and Mikoto than Hashirama and Madara. Two rivals who most likely would end up as two best friends. The spars went on. Naruto however glanced at a certain Hyuga brunette as she sparred with a girl named Ami. Needless to say that the blue-haired Hyuga won in fast. The Ashi smiled as his older daughter proved to him that she wasn't a failure like most of his clan thought. But she really needed to build up her confidence somehow. He glanced at Tsunade and Mikoto and how they treated their progenitor with encouragement and respect. He felt kind of guilty how he treated his daughter coldly. But he couldn't show it. He was the head of the Hyuga clan. And Kami forbid that anyone sees him showing that weakling's emotion. Tsunade frowned at this. She knew this would happen eventually. Beside the fact that she saw a girl as a sweet future comrade for her grandson, maybe she'll be even more than just a friend to the boy. She also noticed how the Nara and Akamichi heirs talked with each other like they were best friends. She gently pushed Naruto toward them. Soon, Sasuke followed his first friend. Well, kind of first friend and more of a rival. Soon, all the Aburame and Inuzuka's heirs joined. Also, they were joined by a Hyuga and a kid older than them by a year. She noticed how the Hyuga heiress was kind of scared from the Hyuga kid. Ah-chan, can I invite my friends this weekend? Tsunade shook her head in amusement. She left Naruto for 5 minutes and here he was a friend to all those kids. I don't mind one bit. But you know that you may be busy. Naruto gulped as he remembered that the Saturday he'll be busy. But then again he remembered about his free Sunday. Well, kind of free Sunday. So, Sunday guys. Tsunade giggled at her grandson's antics. He may be adorable half the time, but the other half he can also be old. Even though she still didn't tell him his two biggest secrets, she reminded herself about checking the boy's elemental affinity. If Kakashi's words were true, then who knows if that problem she used to have will resurface again. Senju Nawaki. Tsunade's younger brother died because of that curse. She remembered that day. The day she told him to test his affinity, she found that he had the Mokuton all along. It seems that the accursed bloodline tend to skip a generation most of the time, or so she read at her grandpa's notes. She prayed that Naruto won't have that Kekkei Genkai. She knew that if the information leak, she'll need Jiraiya's help and to be extremely careful. She smiled when her cute little child was able to befriend each and every promising future genin. Apparently, her grandson was a natural leader. Maybe he'll be a good man and a great Hokage one day. Later that day, Tsunade's eyes widened as she saw the chakra paper she gave to Naruto torn asunder into two parts with a clean cut right in the middle, turn into wood, then drip some water droplets. Shizune immediately took Naruto to another room as Jiraiya entered. He heard Tsunade's muffled sobs. Why? Oh Kami-sama, why my little Naru-chan? Why does he have that accursed bloodline? Jiraiya immediately felt bad when he heard her words as he came to a conclusion. He knew exactly what Tsunade was talking about. Mokuton. Wood release was known as the strongest Kekkei Genkai ever wielded by any clan. The word alone can make any hardened shinobi tremble with fear at this unrestrained power that have the ability to crush mountains and subdue even the Baijus themselves. Jiraiya concluded that Naruto's childhood was over then and there. The Gama Sennin knew that if he wanted his grandson to reach his limit, which was the sky no less, he had no choice. Training starts the instant your secret weapon is revealed. That was the rule of the senju. Minato, my son, I'm so sorry. Your child may never enjoy his childhood much longer, but I won't let anyone turn him into a tool. This I swear. Tsunade Haim, what's done is done. Naruto may very possibly be the child of prophecy I was searching for so long about. Tsunade immediately grabbed Jiraiya by the collar and lifted the tall man off the ground as she glared into his very soul. I don't care at all. I mean, why does he have that accursed bloodline? Why couldn't he be normal? Why? You know that this may turn him into a huge target. That old fart Danzo won't hesitate 1 second to. Not if I pound him into a bloody stain first. Tsunade released Jiraiya, shocked by the look of his eyes. Gone was the cheerful, fun-loving Jiraiya. This Jiraiya screamed power and commanded respect. Tsunade smiled at this. Leave me a piece or two if that would happen. I will. By the way, Tsunaheim. What, Jiraiya-kun? About sensei, when and where we tell him. Tsunade sighed as she knew that their problems had just begun. When the time is right. Beside, Naruto can use chakra and his main affinity is wind. Jiraiya growled. He didn't have any wind jutsu, the old man on the other hand. I'll see what I can do. Maybe I'll teach him the Rasengan for now. Tsunade's eyes widened with horror. He's 6 for Kami's sake, Jiraiya. What if it's now or never? I need to teach him each and every chakra control exercise I can find. Also, I think his chakra level was unbelievable, according to Hada Kakashi. And we both know how much he loves our cute little Gaki. Tsunade growled at this. She was cornered and she knew it. Her cute little grandson had already grew too much. She tried to assess his skills only for her to sigh from frustration, think about it, then answered her lover. He knew already a lot of Hyuga. Even without activating them, he's very close to level 5. He can now use both senju to jutsu styles, have a superb shuriken jutsu. All he lacks is chakra control. Damn. I think that Jiraiya is right. Okay, tell the old man. But only via paper and burn the damn thing afterward. Also, check for any intruder before you do so. In his house's doorsteps. Jiraiya smiled at this. He was glad that the mother of his son and grandson was this shrewd and smart. He really wanted to marry her now. However, it was not the right time. Fine. You're the boss, ma'am. As he shunshined, Tsunade went to her son's room. She was thinking what would she tell him now. "Ha-chan. Are you okay? What happened? Why were you crying?" Tsunade looked at her son's eyes. The kid was crying since she was crying not long ago. She berated herself as she wiped her tears. "Nothing to worry about too much, sweetie. I was afraid for you, that's all. Your Ka-chan is a big strong woman with no equal. What about me, Ka-chan? I mean, I'm not sick, see?" Tsunade giggled as her adorable ball of sunshine putted her hand on his own forehead. She shook her head as she told him what worried her. "Remember what I told you about my grandpa Hashirama when I was at your bed?" Naruto noted as he retold her the story she told him. "And you said that he was able to do that cool forest jutsu and that he and Tsunade, may he rest in peace, had the same ability about that Kiki Jenk." Tsunade chuckled at that. Her adorable little Sachi was now stuck trying to remember the word. Kekkei Naru-chan. It's a bloodline limit that allow only ninjas from that said clan to do some extremely powerful jutsus. Like Shisui Naichin Sharingan. Or like that mean grumpy old man's wide eye. Tsunade soon exploded in a lauding fit about Hiashi being a grumpy old man. She remembered how he was boasting how the Hyugas were the strongest clan. She lauded at the memory of how her daughter-in-law's friend didn't took it too kindly. If she wasn't there, she swore that she'll remind him of her clan's might. Makoto was the Uchiha matriarch for one reason only, she was the strongest Uchiha alive. Maybe her oldest son would surpass her very soon. Yes. That kind of sum it up. Anyway, you have a Kekkei Genkai. And you may need to train in some Hijutsus. I'm glad that all of those were written just in case. Ka-chan. That means that I will be strong enough to protect all those whom I love dearly, Dadabeo. Not so fast, young man. About your Kekkei Genkai, I want you to never tell anyone about it. This is not open to discussion. Naruto pouted at this after he was dancing with joy. However, he saw the pained expression of his mother, which stoked his pouting expression as she continued. "Not only because you're the senju heir, my kawaii little senju heir who I might teach some of my secrets, but also because I want to protect you. Only you, me, Shizune, Jiraiya, Kakashi, Hiruzen sensei and finally, possibly your new sensei if you'll here are allowed to know. Until you reach the graduation age, you are totally forbidden from using your power outside. Is that understood, Naruto-kun?" Naruto looked at the serious expression of his beloved mother and noted with a passion. He may be young, but he knew better than to refuse. Even though Tsunade never punished him, he didn't want to earn her wrath. He still remember how she almost killed a Hyuga man with a single punch. The man was mean to him and he was unlucky enough to be caught red-handed. "I swear I won't, Ka-chan. But if I might ask, what are my elements?" Tsunade smiled at this. She would never punish her beloved and only son. The boy was too cute for his own good sometimes. "Good, my kawaii little Naru-chan. Who's the good Sachi?" Naruto struggled to no avail to flee from his mother's hug. He finally submitted and replied, "Me, Ka-chan. Me." Tsunade smiled as she made a shadow clone and sent him to bring her a scroll about Kenjutsu and Futen, wind release, from the Senju's library. Naruto's eyes widened at this as he tried to imitate his mother only to fail. However, he didn't feel tired one bit. However, Tsunade scolded him for some minutes about imitating her jutsus without permission. Only for her at the end to kiss his forehead. Sunday morning, Senju's compound, Shikamaru and Choji were, amazingly, the first two to arrive at the large Senju compound's gardens. It was more of a small forest than a garden if they were honest with themselves. Only the sight of the mighty trees, grass, flowers, and different species of plants that grew for a good square mile was more than enough to tell them how much the Senju clan was wealthy. "Shikamaru, are you sure Naruto live here?" Troublesome Choji. "But he told us so himself. If anyone would lie, it won't be him. By the way, have you seen how some adults were glaring at him? Also, I find it odd how many bullies try to intimidate him or how kids outright leave him like he doesn't even exist. He got us, Choji. Also, Friday he watched clouds with us, remember? I know. He even offered me some snack. And he called me a kind soul." "Choji, we need to focus where I am right now, Shikamaru." The Nara heir and his best friend looked up to a tree's branch. They saw their friend laying on his back lazily as he was thinking who knows what, but the agility of a cat, Naruto jumped down to the ground. "Hey Naruto. Welcome, Choji, Shikamaru. Welcome. Come in. Make yourselves at home. Ka-chan won't mind I hope. No, I don't mind. Not one bit. Naruto's eyes widened as he saw his mother still only his grandmother. He was afraid she'll get angry at him like many times before. Sure, she never punished him, not even once. Maybe because he never repeat the same mistake. But still, after all, what a house is if it's not full with happy children. Naruto blushed at this. Tsunade was pretty much always happy. He may had his adventures in the past, which it didn't end up mostly well. But now, maybe he'll get used to living with him friend sometimes. Nice house, Tsunade-sama. I mean, it beats many compounds I've visited in my short life. Naruto poked Shikamaru and not too gently. Apparently, Tsunade still have some issues. Thank you, Shikamaru-kun was it? Unfortunately, it is not as good as it used to be. But mostly because it feels. As she talked she noticed the Nara heir nod his head, then when she paused, the Akimichi heir interrupted her. Tsunade-sama, please don't talk about it if it hurts. Thank you, Choji-kun, right. The Akimichi heir nodded his head as Naruto talked to his friends while showing them the many furnitures present in the living room. So, guys, I think I need to tell you the story of everything present in the room. This couch here was brought from Moku no Kuni, Land of Wood, about 2 years ago. Also this TV wasn't here until Friday. This radio here was bought by Shizune Nichan as a birthday present to Ka-chan. The Nara and Akimichi heirs were shocked how the large living room had so much history. They never thought about it too much as Naruto finally told them a secret. By the way, Ka-chan sometimes take me with her when she wants to buy lotto and let me pick the numbers. She said that I have an unbelievable luck. I mean, I never lost in anything that involves luck. Shikamaru's eyes widened in a very comical way. Choji stopped eating his bag of chips upon hearing this. So, how does it feel? This luck I mean. Nothing special Shikamaru. Nothing special. I'm glad that I'm good at something I guess. Choji sighed upon hearing Naruto's reply. He expected some boasting. At best an arrogance. But none was present from someone who can easily become filthy rich in a couple of days. In fact, their friend was very good to have as a company and possible lifelong friend. So, now what we do? I was thinking about watching clouds while eating some chips. Let's go then guys. I mean, the garden always appeals me and a lot. Shikamaru smiled at this. Naruto may probably be the least troublesome friend apart Choji of course. Tsunade shook her head as she watched Naruto pull a scroll with the kanji snacks written on it. At first, she thought he was boasting about the fortune they had. But then she realized that the boy was too modest for that. She also shed a tear of sorrow, as now the compound may sound alive again. Tsunade-sama, are you alright? I am now, Shizune. Damn. I miss it when this place was so full of life. So many children running around. So many lives. I missed when this house was full. Shizune looked at her mentor and mother figure with sympathy. She however remembered some things that were very important. Tsunade-sama, I have an idea. The Uzumaki compound, how far is it? Shizune, we both know that it's very close. I mean it's basically the next door. But since Naruto is my son no. Forget it girl. I mean, I don't need another ghost house, do I? Of course not, Tsunade-sama. Take it easy and calm down please. I am calm Shizune. It's just that I feel sad about all this. I know, Tsunade-sama. I think that I will tell you another time when you can talk about it. Thank you, Shizune-chan. By the way, what did I told you about the Tsunade-sama bull last time? I understand, Tsunade-kasan. Good, my little Shizune-chan. So, today what do you want as a lunch? Takeouts, Tsunade-kasan. Takeouts, no discussion. Shizune shivered at the memory of her adoptive mother friend and mentor's horrible cooking. Not that she could tell her. While she can cook herself, she knew that the only decent cook in the house were Jiraiya and Naruto. Especially Naruto. Naruto, Choji and Shikamaru laid on their back under the shade of a tall tree. The said tree was at least decades old. Naruto in particular was smiling like an idiot. Not that he usually showed it, but this was one of the rare times an outsider have ever seen his true smile. Then, without warning, Naruto rised up from the ground. As his two friends looked at him, he simply replied, they're here. Shino, Kiba, Sasuke and Lee. Shikamaru asked the obvious as Choji squinted his eyes only to confirm Naruto's claim. How did you know that? I mean, they've just arrived. I felt their presence per se, enter the garden. That's how I felt you guys. Are you a sensor Naruto? Like Uncle Inoichi? I don't actually know yet, Choji. I mean, I can detect shinobis, but Lee was very hard to detect for some reason. That means that you are indeed a sensor type ninja. Well, ninja in training for now. Naruto shook his head at his friend's cynical remark. Sure, Shikamaru was a nice company if he was more motivated at least. Look, what you know, please keep it to yourself. Please guys. The two other boys swore secrecy as Naruto greeted his other friends. Surprisingly, Sasuke was the first to kind of apologize. Sorry if I was late. You see, I was training with Nai-chan for once. And since you rarely have time, I couldn't say no. No harm done, Sasuke. I mean, I would have done the same. So, what did you guys do yesterday? Shino told them about how he was with his father. Probably trying to know his hive more. Amazingly, none was disgusted. Naruto even said that this was cool in its own kind of way. Hiba told them that his mother was searching for a partner for him. Something that he was wished luck at by everyone else. Joji told them that he started his clan training. Shikamaru was the same. Big surprise that Shikamaru quieted. Lee told them that he was training since he had nothing else to do. Naruto felt sad at this. Lee seemed like a nice guy. Sasuke told them that he was still training Pan trying to do something important to himself. Naruto then asked him. Let me guess, Byakuyo. Great fireball. Sasuke's eyes widened at this. How come he knew? Well, I think you need to know about fire nature transformation first. It will take you more time, but one day you'll thank me for that. Shikamaru's curiosity was activated. Now Naruto was rained with questions until he stopped them. I'm no genius, but I once heard from Hokage Jaichin he's here I guess. Heyo, Hokage-sama. All the kids greeted. Naruto however jumped with joy as he said Jai-chan. Several times. The old man rarely visited, but Naruto loved him like a grandfather. He also enjoyed the old man's wisdom and sharp eyes for details and potential. Hey there my children. So, what can an old man do for you? Naruto immediately pouted. This old man was the only man he can't beat even in 10 years. Naruto glanced at him in a drop the act grandpa look. Hokage-sama, what is the best way? To master an elemental jutsu or to master the said nature transformation? Hiruzen smiled at Sasuke's question. That was something he wanted to lecture them about. Well, my child, mastering an elemental jutsu is like running. However, one can't run before he walk or he may fall. So to answer you, in my humble opinion, one should master the elemental transformation of the said jutsu, then he can master the said jutsu and much more. All the kids were at awe. The old man was wise. Very wise even. Naruto however was the first to grin at this. He knew that the tall white-haired man whom he see as a father was right. So, Aji-sama, how are you now? I hope that you vanquished that evil thing. Unfortunately, I didn't yet. But today I took a day off. After all, someone have to make sure the next generation would surpass its predecessor. Also, it does help that you are all assembled in the same place. Thank you for the visit and tips Hokage-sama. You're welcome my children. But I'm not wearing my hat, am I? Naruto chuckled at this. He loved the old man with a passion. Whenever Jiraiya was busy to check on them, Hiruzen paid them a visit. Now that his guest list was almost full, he thought about showing them the best spot in the garden. Uchiha Itachi was known as many things. A genius like no other. A prodigy even by the Uchiha standard. The most efficient Anbu agent save Kakashi and possibly his best friend, Uchiha Shisui. But in one word, he was a peace lover. He was not having a great time. Not one bit. His clan was torn asunder between rebelling against the village and negotiating for their rights. Itachi and Shisui were completely against the rebellion. For them, women, children and elderly were on their top list to refuse. Itachi knew that once the village would be weakened, Iwagakure and Kumagakure wouldn't hesitate one split second. Uchiha Fugaku, as the Uchiha clan's patriarch was the one who's caught the most in the turmoil of politics. He was thinking for weeks about how to quell the rebellion. But he knew that in a year at most, the Uchiha clan won't stay quit. A civil war was cooking slowly. One that may take the whole shinobi world to hell. It didn't help that Hiashi was accusing them. Well, Fugaku at least was defended by a senju, something he never thought possible. He encouraged his younger son to be friend with Naruto. He also swore to pay his debt in full one day or another. Itachi, son, we need to talk. Talk about what, father? About our clan. We both know what would happen if I accept their proposal. So, I need you to talk with Jiraiya-sama about helping us when the time is right. Jiraiya of the Densetsu no Sannin. Why would he agree anyway? Because he's a man of morals, principles and honor. Something many lack in our village. Look, I'm kind of happy that your brother finally started to walk in the right path instead of our accursed path of hatred. You should follow Shisui's example, Itachi. You should follow your own unbeaten path son. This is the last lesson I will ever give you as your father. But I know you'll surpass me one day. And I'm feeling that the said day is very close. I will do my best, father. I will make you proud of me. Good. Now go and find Shisui. This is your first week off, so pass it in what you want the most. Just this once try to be selfish. I'm going out. Well Itachi, it seems that I must trust you as my heir and fast. Now let's see what we should do. The next summer, Senju's compound. Naruto smiled as he jumped from a tree yet again. It was early morning. Like any sleepless night, he would get out and train himself to sleep. As he went to the lake between the two compounds, he realized that Kakashi was a nice older brother. Now the kid have some new clothes that made him a lot more like an experienced chunin. Naruto was wearing some black, white and gray jumpsuit. Also he wore a mask that hides half his face. He started wearing those clothes ever since his last birthday. The jumpsuit was a present from Jiraiya. The old man told him how it was Kakashi's idea. Kakashi on the other hand gave him some Dotonjutsu scroll and a black mask like his. He told him that he would be proud if his little brother was kind of like him. Not that Naruto needed any instruction. The man was now living with them. Something that gave him much joy. Over the last year, Yumi no Iruka became closer to Naruto. Sure, at first the man barely stranded the boy. But one time he treated him to Ichiraku ramen, and that was it. Iruka soon became like a sibling to pretty much all the class. Naruto however was the only one who can find 1,000 ways to drive the poor Chunin to insanity. Izuki however was described by one word according to Naruto, S-rank jerk and many other words. If the senju knew some swear words, that's it. For now, Naruto was thinking how to evade the boring lectures once and for all. True, they had a 3 months vacation. But to Naruto, that meant one thing only, training time. Since he doesn't always meet his clique, he decided that the best way to pass time was training as much as his body could. He may not be able to train more than 12 hours, but that doesn't mean he would slack off training, does it? Yo. Naruto lazily greeted Kakashi without even turning to see the man. The masked Anbu smiled at this. It was no secret that Naruto's skills were second to none for his age. He doubted that there would be a single academy student stronger than the kid. When he's angry, that's it. You know you're way too early. Well, I was searching for my lost sleep and I didn't found him yet. Kakashi chuckled at this. Naruto would be so like him. But he had one problem on his mind. His girlfriend Kurenai told him about a young Hyuga girl, a bit younger than Naruto, having some problems. He then asked his younger brother figure about something. By the way, you never told me if you like any girl. Hinata-chan is probably my first friend ever. But she doesn't talk to me at all. Now that rang a bell. Kurenai told him about her mistreatment. And by her own father no less. The last meeting with the clan heads, the Uchiha clan head insulted Hiashi about it. That was definitely a problem. I see. Maybe she was just shy. Maybe she had problems. You mean like my minor problem of being lonely whenever no one is here? Pretty much. So, Kakashi Naichin, what can I do for her? I mean I met her cousin, Niji. That guy is on my jerk list. How many people are there anyway? A lot to be honest. But don't tell Ka-chan or she would take me away from here. Kakashi sighed as he nodded his head. The kid was smarter than average. If he'd make a guess, he'd say that Naruto is extremely smart when it comes up to life and a genius like Tobirama or his father when it comes up to learning shinobi skills. He just wanted to confirm his thoughts however. So, how far are you from mastering wind chakra? I heard that Sasuke mastered his fire chakra already. Naruto smiled. Something that made Kakashi's eye widen, even by a bit. He knew that Naruto knew about Itachi. He knew that Naruto and Sasuke are like himself and Guy, only less friendly toward each other. Good for him. I mean, if he did it, then I got myself a great teammate in the future I hope. Well, if Tobirama Ajayi-sama's notes are right, only one step left to cut a waterfall in half. Unfortunately, there's no waterfall narrow enough for the task. Naruto pouted at the end of his sentence. Kakashi I smiled at this. His cute little brother and apprentice sometimes was advancing at a very fast pace. That was some great news that made his day. By the way, Kakashi Naichin, what about Kurenai-san? When will you two, you know? Kakashi I hardened as he scolded Naruto about his innocence until Naruto answered. I was going to say that you two move in. I mean, Nico Nichin and Hibi Nichin told me that maybe they'll move in one day. But I don't want anyone to be here before you Dadabeo. Kakashi only said an oh. Before he remained silent and for a good 5 minutes. He was thinking how to apologize to his younger brother. Well, his surrogate younger brother but still. So, we go to Ichiraku Ramen for a break feast, then we get some takeout for lunch. Naruto nodded his head and many times over as Kakashi went with him to get the best food ever known for humans, aka ramen according to Naruto. Days later, Naruto smiled as a man walked in with Kakashi. The said man was wearing an Anbu uniform, had short brown spiky hair and black almond-shaped eyes. And his hetai was a hapuri similar to one Senju Tobirama. The said man made himself known. Hello there Naruto-kun. Kakashi-senpai told me a lot about you. Hokage-sama gave me the mission to help training you, since I have something only you have too. Naruto then asked innocently if they were related somehow. The Anbu simply palmed his face. Kakashi chuckled before he reminded the man of the boy's age. The man introduced himself as Tenzo. Then he told Naruto about what they had in common. Naruto-kun, we both have the same Kekkei Genkai. Although we are not related, I think that it's my duty to teach you. Kakashi, who's the man in my property? Kakashi and Tenzo gulped as Tsunade clenched her fists, making her knuckles snap. Kakashi immediately told her about Tenzo's mission. Before anyone do anything, Jiraiya appeared with a shunshin. Tsunade Haim, please calm down. Before the woman say anything, she noticed how Tenzo was at a knee and a half and bowing to Jiraiya, who rises the man to his feet again. Tenzo, if I would ever demand this absurd over-respect, I would have done it when I found you years ago. Jiraiya, do you trust this man? With my life. And with Naruto even. Tenzo is a professional. Also, he's an acquaintance of mine. Tsunade then smiled at this. So far, the man was respectful toward her. And he acted toward Naruto like he was an apprentice. For her, this was good enough. Also, if Jiraiya trusts him, his loyalty is unquestionable. She know her teammate, lover, partner of crime and the father of her only son too well for that. She felt sad how Naruto still doesn't know the truths yet. As I was saying, Naruto-kun. I will train you. But first, tell me what you can do. Naruto thought about it for some moments before he started talking. Awarimi, no hand seals. Henge, no hand seals. Shuriken jutsu, not bad one bit. Taijutsu, I mastered the senju style according to Kachan. Almost reached mastery of wind and water chakra. Require some attention to earth chakra. I can also on a side note use a sledgehammer decently. I think I may need to learn how to fight with a sword. Also, I can make seeds grow faster. Tenzo was impressed. This kid, no older than 7, was a solid genin. Only 2 other kids were at this level. Not that he knew. But Naruto was actually lying to him about his skill level. The kid was able to learn how to heal himself and accelerate his already impressive regeneration. Also, he didn't know that Naruto knew some Fuinjutsus, a Hijutsu and the Rasengan. Kakashi-senpai, you were right. This kid will be a powerhouse one day. Naruto I smiled a look at Kakashi as he heard the compliment. Tenzo would be his sensei for who know how long. And if that guy was impressed, that would be a good thing, no. Naruto panted hard. Not only Tenzo was a certified sadist, but also was a cruel slave driver. For the last 12 hours, Naruto didn't even took a break or eaten anything. Tenzo kept training him Anbu style. Which involved many things on the same time. From dodging while fighting a much superior opponent to running while dodging kunes and shurikens with a backpack full of stones and running through hand seals. Tenzo was very serious in the training. In short, Naruto for once in his short life felt tired. Something the Anbu captain should boast about for a good century if he lived that long. Alright. That's good for you. So, lesson number 1 would be this. Tenzo then planted a seed in the ground and focused his chakra before making it grow into a tree. Naruto was at awe for a bit of time as Tenzo told him the trick. But what shocked the Anbu was the fact that Naruto reproduced the feat within a minute time frame. Tsunade dropped the cup of lemonade she was holding. Naruto learned a high Mokuton exercise and within a minute. Something that took her grandfather a whole day to achieve and he was older. Was this the Kyuubi's influence? No. I can't believe my own eyes. Is Naruto-kun this talented? Then again, it took him only 2 weeks to figure out how to master the Rasengan. Impressive, Naruto-kun. It took me a good solid month to produce such a feat. How did you do this? Naruto simply I smiled at Tenzo. He felt that the seed was asking for his order. Naruto was a censor, but simply because he felt a deep connection to the living crops, from grass to the trees and not forgetting the flowers. He simply couldn't explain it. Well, the seed asked me if I her to grow. Also, she asked me for some chakra so it can become a tree. That's all. Tenzo was shocked. He knew that the kid have a secondary affinity to wood and a third one to water. He just thought how to push him to the right path. Maybe I'll tell him to learn a strong jutsu. No. Not yet, else Tsunade-sama will play with my decapitated head. I was never been able to communicate with plants. It's like my Mokuton is forced. What? I told you how I feel it, Tenzo-sensei. Tenzo for his part sighed. Then he came to an idea. I think you need to master your other chakra elements before we continue the training. Now, I think Jiraiya-sama knows better about earth and water chakra than me. Also, wind chakra have but one final step. But since you couldn't do it, I'll help you creating the waterfall. Good luck, kid. You're on your own from this point onward. Thank you for the help and training, Tenzo-sensei. Tenzo simply used his earth chakra to create a 10 feet tall earth rampart. Then, he created a narrow stream as a waterfall. Naruto thanked the man again. The man smiled warmly before he instructed Naruto to master wind chakra, earth chakra and water chakra. Then after saying his farewell he went with a shunshin. Kakashi for his part had to carry a young blonde senju in his arms as Jiraiya and Tsunade went in. The dinner went a bit too quietly as Naruto wolfed down a mushroom soup, some grilled fishes, and a couple of bowl of ramen before the kid went to his bedroom and slumbered to the next day. In the dining room however, Tsunade was talking about many things with Jiraiya. Among them were when to tell the kid about everything. After all, he was her heir. The next day, noon exactly, Naruto yawned, stretched, and jumped off his bed and went straight to the bathroom. After a quick shower and a teeth brushing, he dashed to the kitchen as he, and probably everyone else, heard a loud roar that was closer to a whale's song than the rumbling of an empty stomach. As Naruto ate a lot of food. Well, wolf down a lot of food as a breakfast. Then, as he went to the garden, or rather the training grounds of the compound, he was shocked to see Tsunade look at him with a tinge of sadness evident in her eyes. Good morning, Naruto-kun. I have something important to tell you. I think you're ready now to hear it. Naruto tilted his head in confusion. Jiraiya, who was watching all the time, sighed in frustration. The old sage knew that Naruto may be shocked for a long time if he'd hear this. Unconsciously, the tall man shed a tear as he thought about everything. Minato, I'm so sorry son. You left a legacy which I neglected for a long time. I can only hope you'll forgive me one day. Tsunade however broke down. How couldn't she? How couldn't she when her second son, the one she taught some of her secrets, the one she took care like he was her own son, the one she fed her own milk and was ready to kill anyone to protect, was about to know some very dark and grim secrets. Not one, not two, but three. 3 secrets that may destroy his life. Naruto-kun, please stay strong. The first secret I wanted to tell you is that I'm not your real mother. I adopted you when you were a newborn, but that doesn't mean that I'm. Before she could finish her own words, Naruto stubbornly denied that times and times again. No. You are my Kachan Tsunade. You are my Kachan. I would never accept anyone else. Please, don't chase me away from you. You are the only person I can love more than anyone. Please be my Kachan. I swear I'll be the best son you can ever dream of Dadabeo. Watching Naruto cry his eyes out made Tsunade maternal instincts rise to the surface again. She simply hugged her grandson with great affection. She wiped his tears while consoling and soothing him again and again until he stopped his dam. When he looked at him she told him in a totally serious tone, I would never chase you away. No one is going to take you from me no matter what price I must pay. I was saying that in reality, I'm the mother of your father. That pervert there is the father of my beautiful and handsome son, Minato. Naruto eyes widened upon hearing this. Minato, as in Namikaze Minato. The Yondaime Hokage. But Kachan, does it hurt you? Tsunade's eyes softened even more. Naruto forgot his pain because he was thinking about her. She smiled warmly upon hearing this. No, it doesn't anymore. When I look at you, I feel him alive in you. Even though, unfortunately, he and Kushina-chan jumped to save you. They cared for you and loved you that much even when you were a newborn baby. Naruto cried again. This time from happiness and sorrow together. However, Tsunade continued her story. Naruto-kun, you're wise. Wiser than your age. I know that they don't like you. But the reason why is that because your father sealed the Kyuubi inside of you. Somehow, he was able to seal it whole. However, he jumped along your mother in the path of his claw to protect you. I'm sorry if I told you this, but it was their will that you would be seen as a hero instead of them. Jiraiya continued as his tears streamed down his cheeks. Minato's honorable sacrifice and will was tarnished for too long. Far too long in his point of view. Naruto however broke down crying. That was too much for him. His mind was running 1,000 miles per hour as he thought about everything. The glares, the whispers, the bullying, the bans from many stores whenever no Anbu was in view. It all makes sense. After a good 30 minutes of crying, Naruto voiced his first and most important question. Why? Why me? Why me of all people? Why didn't he see the real nature of many villages? Why did he do this to his own son? Jiraiya was about to answer as Tsunade shook her head. Naruto kept asking himself again and again. Then he stopped his questions, wiped his tears before he shook his head and smiled. Well, at least I got a real Bachan and Jai-chan. Also, I have some good friends and family. I'm not really sad. Tsunade and Jiraiya's eyes widened. This 7 years old was this sober. How comes that despite the fact that he was orphaned by his first hour, he didn't blame his father? I wouldn't have done the same though. I would sacrifice myself to drag him to his death. If he could, that's exactly what he would have done. Unfortunately, only a newborn is able to hold that much power, as his chakra coils are yet to develop. Also, somehow despite the fox's immeasurable power to us humans, he was able to seal him whole, with the price being his life. Naruto listened at his grandfather's explanation as the tall mountain of a shinobi continued his explanation. The seal he used was on a level 9 out of 10. However, this means you'll have a few time before you can use his chakra as it is corrosive. If I were you, I would try meditation sometimes. Naruto shook his head at this. He voiced however his own idea. I say I grow up a bit more before I may try and contact him. Also, I prefer to be strong on my own. Not with some borrowed power. See? I told you Jiraiya. So, was he sealed before me? Jiraiya sighed at this. How can he tell him? He finally decided to tell only half the truth. Well, I think twice. Since Shadai Sama's death, if I am correct. Naruto eyes widened. That was about half a century ago if not much more. That definitely was bad for the fox. I think someone is gonna need to keep him company sometimes. But, I think I need to go back and take a nap. As Naruto walked away, Tsunade and Jiraiya realized that the kid may have so many different emotions bottled up. The next few days seemed grim and dark. 2 months after the vacation, Konoha's academy, Naruto and Sasuke were glaring at each other for a reason. Well, trying to kill each other just by look, as some students swore that there were some electric sparks flying between each other. While the girls of the back, save one shy Hyuga, were rooting for Sasuke, most of the clan heirs were rooting for Naruto. This however stopped when Iruka entered the class and yelled to stop. While everyone else flew to their chairs, Naruto and Sasuke remained glaring at each other for several seconds while they took their places one at the side of another. Alright you two. What happened now? Sasuke shook his head while Naruto exploded in a laughing fit. Then everyone understood exactly what happened. Nothing. We just wanted to know who's the strongest guy at this class. That's all. Okay. That was weird. Not really. That was our favorite game. And awkward. Boy, Sasuke, why telling them? I mean, we still don't know who's the better man, yet. And egomaniacal. Heh, you know I'm faster than you now, don't you? Arrogance. Did you manage to overpower me even once in a spar between us? Before anyone else jumped to a conclusion, the two rivals laughed. Well, chuckled in Sasuke's case. As the class went on, Naruto did what he usually do when he's bored out of his mind. He simply slept off. He have no idea how the night will change a lot of things on the village. Among them, his and Sasuke's fate. As Sasuke went back home, he was shocked how the Uchiha compound turned into a battlefield in all the senses of the word. The shock however was short-lived as an Anbu attacked him. Before he could move however, his father threw himself in front of the attacker. Fugaku was able to kill the attacker, but at a price. Sasuke. Run as fast as you can. This is not a fight you can survive. Fugaku grunted as his left arm was impaled by a sword. As he removed the blade, he grunted while he prepared himself for the battle that held the lives of children, elderly and women at stake. As Sasuke ran away from the compound, he felt that everything was slower. He thought it was just his adrenaline working. Little did he know that he activated the Sharingan. However, he was shocked as he turned and saw an Anbu rushing toward him and yelling, "Die." The said Anbu however was never able to touch a hair from Sasuke's head as he was skewered by a lightning blade. The one that killed him was an Anbu. Sasuke, run to the Senju compound and tell them what happened. Sasuke froze. He tried to move again and again. Yet he couldn't. As he was exposed, another Anbu attacked him. However this time, it was Mikoto who stopped the attack, much to his shock. His mother then made a shadow clone. Said clone just grabbed him and shunshined away to where the Anbu told him. Sasuke thought about it for a second only to realize that the Anbu who saved him had the kanji fire on his mask. Tsunade wasn't happy one bit when Uchiha Itachi rushed through her compound while yelling at the top of his lungs. She was enraged when she saw Uchiha Mikoto out of consciousness and bleeding profusely. Itachi however shocked her with his words and the fact he was bound to her. "Tsunade-sama, I beg of you, heal my mother. She's the only one I can trust to be your fiercest ally. I'll be in debt of you my whole life if I have to. If you want me to be Senju Itachi, so be it. Please, don't let her die." Tsunade nods as she healed Mikoto at best of her abilities allow her. As she finished doing so, she decided how to tell her son about it. Alright. She's stable, for now. Just let her rest and guard her with your life, Itachi. I thank you, Tsunade-sama. I'm in debt toward you as long as I'm breathing. Itachi was crying as he saw his second most precious person alive and stable. His mother putted a fight like no other. For a Jonin, she was pretty strong. Well, once she'll be back like it used to, full health, she'll be a valuable asset to the village. Think nothing of it, Itachi. As a medic ninja, I can't allow a Jonin of such skills to die on me, can I? Itachi noted as he shunshined with his mother and little brother to the hospital. Sasuke's injury may be a mental one, but Itachi won't take any risk with it. Uchiha Shisui was not in a good mood for once in his life. His clan was attacked. He was able to secure some prisoners whose were taken into the T&I department. Marino Ibiki would make quick work of them. And that night, many Uchihas lost their lives. From the age of 10 to the age of 50 and even 60. In short, the clan survived, but barely. Whoever responsible will pay a heavy price soon enough. Naruto grinded his teeth as he heard of that fateful night's events. It seems that Sasuke was mentally unstable for now. The blonde Senju shook his head. Sasuke was his friend. And Naruto would never abandon any friend of his. Ino, who told you so? Tuchan did, Choji. He told me that Sasuke-kun may abandon the academy soon. Naruto slammed his fist in hard in the desk. As the whole class turned toward him, he snarled with an angry tone. What are we doing here? We let him plunge into darkness while we can be some good friends and help him out. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to see him. Before anyone reply, Naruto ran to the Senju compound. After he left, the clan heirs and heiresses talked with each other. Soon enough, even Sakura went home to change her clothes. As Naruto went out of the compound, he was shocked to see all his friends, even Lee and Niji, dressed in black. Before he said anything, surprisingly, Hinata was the one who talked. Naruto-kun, I think we can't really be friends again if we abandon one of us. Will we? Naruto smiled behind his mask as they went together to the cemetery for the collective funeral of many Uchihas that lost their lives. He had some interesting feelings to say the least. Even though Neji was kind of glaring at Hinata sometimes, which it didn't escape the notice of the masked blonde. However, once they arrived at the cemetery, they heard the Hokage speak about the will of fire that still burned hot inside the Uchiha clan. As he finished his words, Naruto glanced at Sasuke. Soon enough, pretty much everyone that was in the same class offered him his condolences. Naruto was the last to do so. After the funeral, everyone went home safe. Naruto and Sasuke. The two walked while thinking of many things. Naruto about the family he lost at his first hour and Sasuke about his father. As they wandered off into a clearing, Naruto asked Sasuke, "Sasuke, don't let this change you to the worst, my friend. I know how you feel. I'm going to tell this only to you, if you want." "What do you mean by you know how I feel?" "You have a father, no? The grandfather and grandmother, yes. But a father or mother, well, you know your father, don't you?" "I know who he was. But I lost him and my mother by my first hour of life. Don't let darkness grip into you, Sasuke. You do have a darkness, don't you?" Naruto nodded his head. He sighed as he told Sasuke how he was looked down upon and mistreated most of the time. "Look, Sasuke, I know you're angry, okay? Just fight me if you want to let it go." Sasuke smirked as the two rivals fighted with each other as equals. Naruto may be as strong and as fast as Sasuke, if not stronger. And their styles easily nullify each other. While Sasuke's style is offensive, Naruto's was both. However, Sasuke was faster than him by a bit. Soon enough, both boys fell back first to the ground. "You're good, Muchiero. Not bad for a Tonkatsu. Do you think I should stop going to the academy so we get in the same team? Speaking of which, why do some teachers hate you?" "Well, I'm a slacker like Shikamaru. But how do I get worst grades?" "That's it. Oh, and by the way, which girl do you like as a teammate?" "Well, Hinata would be the best. But you'll need to work on that first. I mean, it's either Sakura or Ino. She's a gentle soul. And she have a great potential for a kunoichi. If someone tell me that she's stronger than Kiba or even Shino, I wouldn't be surprised." So, since when you knew her?" 3, 5, 6. "Wow, I never thought that. You two don't look like two close friends." "Well, to her credit, she tried, Kami-sama knows. You know, if she would like you more than a friend, you better never let her down." "You mean like best friend?" "No Baka Tonkatsu, idiot hammer, I meant like something more." "I don't know yet. I mean, even Nai-chan refused to tell me. So, why are you always protecting her from bullies?" "I have no idea. I felt that if I don't I would regret it. Tell you what, hide your abilities all the way to the final exam and I'll do my best to be the rookie of the year. All you'll have to do is to make Hinata the kunoichi of the year and ta-da. We get a teammate that's neither weak neither a fangirl." "That won't be necessary. I'll make sure you three end up together." Naruto's eyes widened while Sasuke narrowed his eyes. The Hokage himself was practically promising them to do that. That was scary, somehow. "Why would you do that, Jai-chan?" "Because, Naruto-kun, I feel that you three can get along each other rather easily. Each is an orphan. Each is strong in his own kind of way. Also, I think only you can push each other to reach and surpass his full potential." Sasuke bowed slightly. "I know. It's a bad shock even to Naruto." As he thanked the Hokage for letting them be together. Little did they knew that one day they will thank him or insult him. 1 week later, Naruto was strolling after the academy. As he went on his path where his little legs guided him, he felt a chakra signature he was too familiar with following him. Leaving nothing to chance, he decided that now was the right time for a talk. Shunshin no Jutsu. The whisper in Naruto was immediately after one shy Hyuga girl who eeped in surprise. Naruto however would have nothing from that. "Hinata-chan, why were you following me?" I don't know, and na Naruto-kun." Naruto frowned as he saw that Hinata went back 2 or 3 steps as she fidgeted. Her stutter was a clear sign of her lack of self-confidence. Also, he was sure from one thing. Her family must have destroyed any self-confidence she have. But if my ability to sense chakra is even half true, her chakra control is amazing at her age. Her reserves are not as bad as Ino or Sakura. Which means that she's a hardworking type. Great. All I have is to try and rebuild her confidence. If you have time to stalk me, then you must have time to fight me, no." Hinata was a bit afraid of the word fight. As he replied to Naruto while apologizing, "I wasn't stalking you, and Naruto-kun. I wanted to talk to you. But I couldn't do it also, I don't want to fight you. What if you get hurt? Good thing I'm able to heal fast then." "Sorry, Hinata-chan. But either we spar, either I won't talk to you ever again." Of course, Naruto was lying through his teeth. But Hinata didn't notice. As they went to an empty training ground, Naruto prepared himself, and so was Hinata. As they went on their spar, Naruto noticed something many times. "That's it for me it seems. By the way, Hinata-chan, why were you holding off against me? Hinata fidgeted as she finally worked up her guts. Because I don't want to hurt you, and Naruto-kun. Naruto tried his best to glare at her with his two lazy-looking eyes, yet he failed. You did already. If you hold off in a spar, your opponent will develop the worst sin for any ninja. Overestimating himself and can even get arrogant. Arrogance kills. All the Hokage were humble yet confident in themselves. That's why a very few shinobi are worth the hat. Hinata's eyes widened in horror. Was she leading her cousin and sister to their death unknowingly? That nailed her decision as Naruto smiled at her behind his mask. I smiled a look Kakashi would be more accurate. Well, if you ever want to be my friend, tell me, write to me, you're free. I'll be very happy to be your friend, Hinata-chan. Also, you're free to visit me anytime you want. Ba-chan loves children somehow. Hinata just walked toward her house while Naruto was trailing her to make sure no harm would happen to her. As she knocked, he simply shunshined to his house, thinking about many things like he always does. But the nun was more than what to cook for himself. 3 years later, Senju compound, it was summer. Naruto was bored out of his mind. He was the #1 slacker in the classroom for the last 3 years. Mostly out of sheer laziness than anything else. Also, he became even closer to any clan heir and his 3 other friends, Rock Lee, Sai and Shin. At first, he butted heads with Sai and Shin, but later, they agreed to try and be friends. Naruto smiled as he remembered a certain girl he was very protective toward. Hinata was not weak in his or Sasuke's eyes. Although Sasuke wasn't interested, Naruto mentioned that she's kind of cute in her own way. Of course, she fainted, much to his confusion. Shikamaru said it was troublesome to help Naruto, something that made the usually lazy blonde glare at him. Sasuke also changed a bit. Becoming more and more friendly. Although he usually never talked to civilian kids, he respected strong future comrades like Sai, Shin, and even Lee. Naruto however was much friendlier. Any kid who try and talk to him somehow ends up talking to him again and again. Somehow, Naruto had a special charm. One that can affect anyone. From a certain Hyuga Niji to even Shin and Sai, who were utterly emotionless, Shin, or as innocent as himself, Sai. Sasuke once joked that if Naruto would face an enemy, they may win a new ally or even a friend. Judging by how Naruto was making friends with a few words, that may be true. His musing were cut short when he was called by Tenzo. His Anbu sensei was ruthless in his teaching, but it has paid off and greatly. Naruto was wearing his usual mask, like Kakashi. His wardrobe however changed. He was dressed in a black shirt with a fur collar, a black cargo short, and a shinobi sandal. Tenzo smiled behind his porcelain mask as he saw how his student was ready for training. Naruto may be a lazy kid when it comes up to anything else. But when it comes up to training, he changes 180 degree. Hey there, Naruto-kun. So, you finished sharpening your Doton chakra? Naruto smirked behind his mask. He finished that exercise some weeks ago. You have something in your mind, Tenzo-sensei. Because I mastered my 3 chakra types to perfection. So, you have any jutsu as a reward? Tenzo sweet-dropped at this. The kid was smart like his father. And he had his mother's determination. Well, I taught you all the jutsus I could master, and yet I guess this will take something else. Naruto smirked yet again. True the fact that he was a real prodigy like no other when it comes up to ninjutsu. So far, he mastered all the jutsu he could put his hand on. After all, to be Hokage meant that he should be strong enough to be recognized by everyone, right? But he had another goal in mind, to protect everyone he cared about. Well, what will you do then? Tenzo then threw a ninjato to his student. Much to his surprise, the kid had an amazing affinity to the blade. He was training with the sword like he was an old hand. Something wasn't right. Is this the first time you train with a sword? Naruto nodded his head as he explained. Well, it is. However, it seems natural for some reason. There's no mistake in it. This kid does have a natural talent in Kenjutsu. If Jiraiya-sama's words are true, then which level you reached in Fuinjutsu? Naruto cocked an eyebrow in confusion before he answered the Anbu. Between level 4 and 5 for in Uzumaki as Jiaichin says. Tenzo then sweated profusely. He heard about the Uzumaki standards of Fuinjutsu being extremely high. But this 10 years old was progressing exponentially. Something that wasn't right at all. How come you're the dead last? Naruto smirked at this. Tenzo wanted to know his secret. He wasn't going to tell it to anyone. Boredom? Laziness? Being tired? I dunno. Could be none of those like it could be all of those. Tenzo shook his head as he frowned behind his mask. He then revealed his face. Since it was a rule for him whenever he trained the blonde, secretly, senju. Okay, you can go and play in a poker tournament now. I mean, time to step up your training. Mokuton is great and all, but you can't use it frequently. Also, there's the if, how and when to use your other jutsus. So, today we'll try to upgrade your control over the Mokuton, Suiton, Doton and Futon jutsus. Any problem with that? Naruto smirked as he told Tenzo a secret with or without the cage bunshin. Also, I think you made a little mistake, sensei. Tenzo's right eyebrow raised up a little. About the Mokuton, I think I know which flaw you have. However, I will not tell you. Tenzo tried to put his ghoul face as it was dubbed, only for Naruto to chuckle mirthlessly. Well, simply put, you think that the Mokuton is like your typical Kekkei Genkai. Well, there's a reason why it easily rivaled even a Kekkei Toda, isn't it? Tenzo was about to say something before he stopped. Then he found a good idea come to his head. Well, those are Shodai-sama Mokuton ninjutsu. Good luck, you're gonna need it. My advice to you is don't try the ones that requires too much chakra. Or you may die. Now train, Naruto. May the sky be your limit. Naruto smiled a bit and almost cried. Tenzo had acknowledged his potential. Something only a few have done in the past. Thank you, Tenzo-sensei. As a token of gratitude, I'll ask you one question. I told you before that your Mokuton feels forced. Now however, I'll ask you which is better. Controlling the growth of a tree or letting it go wild. Tenzo smiled as he went without uttering a single word. As he reached the compound's gate, he put on his mask again and smiled as he knew the answer. It was not because he never tried to do what Naruto told him. It was because he just can't. He was never a natural Mokuton user, born with that ability. Naruto, however, is a whole another story. About 2 weeks later, Senju compound. Tsunade smiled as she saw her grandson training and with a great determination. No matter what jutsu, kata or exercise she gave him, he would never stop unless he finished it once and for all. She was able to drill secrecy into his head years ago. But there's one thing that worried her though. She knew that a certain blue-haired Hyuga girl barely younger than him had a huge crush on him. She intentionally bumped into her many times to strike some conversation with her. So far she came to like the girl and wish her to end up with her grandson. Alright, Naruto-kun. This is it for today. Bachan, there's something I wanted to show you. I think I'll call this Wakusei Rasengan, Planetary Rasengan. True to his word, Naruto produced 3 wood clones as he prepared a big ball of violently spinning and compressed chakra while the clones were preparing a regular Rasengan. As the clones joined their Rasengans to Naruto's, it was clear why he called it like that. However, the clones froze and the Rasengan dissipated as Naruto fell forward, only to be caught by Tsunade. I've seen enough. Are you alright? Naruto smiled weakly. His first chakra exhaustion. No wonder since he spent the past days honing and sharpening his skills. However, he panicked. I promised Hinata-chan to visit her in 5 minutes. Tsunade smiled at the selflessness of her secret heir. He was too sweet for his own good. I'll go instead. You rest and recover alright. But Bachan, no buts mister. This is an order. Naruto pouted behind his mask. Tsunade was his mother and even grandmother. His most precious person he wouldn't mind to die protecting, but she was annoying on some very rare occasions. Naruto nodded his head in understanding. As Tsunade carried him and put him on the couch, he had no idea how this day would change his life. Hyuga compound. 10 minutes later, Hinata was in the ground, panting hardly and she was also bloodied and beaten. Her face had bruises. She had doubtlessly some internal wounds. Her father decided to train her, as he said. Hinata was able to easily beat her sister in their spar and even hold her ground against Neji yesterday. She was exhausted however. And her father showed her no mercy. The real reason why because he wanted her to marry someone from the main house instead of some demon monster street rat in his eyes. He didn't care that the one his daughter wanted was living with Senju Tsunade no less. This came short however as a guard rushed toward him, his face was a shen in color. Hiashi-sama, a blonde Uzumaki wants to see you now. Get rid of that street rat of a demon monster. However, he was bombarded with a mighty killing intent focused solely on him and him only, as a dark and feminine voice talked to him. Wrong blonde. And wrong Uzumaki, Hiashi-ero. So, that's how you see the greatest hero this village ever had, huh? Senju Tsunade was glaring at him. No, she was glaring at his very soul. That wasn't the only thing that scared him however. I failed again. My own student no less. Jiraiya was clearly ready to chop a head or 2 or slit many throats. Tsunade. Jiraiya. Stand down, both of you. Hiashi, what's the meaning of this? Now the Hokage himself and he was beyond pissed. Seriously, now who? Had a Kakashi. You know the rules way too well. Jiraiya smirked a predatory smirk. He knew this would happen. And he was more than ready. Well, since we can't kill you before your own child, you leave us no choice. Sensei, what says the rules in this case? Jiraiya, you wouldn't take sweet and shy Hinata, would you? Hiashi smirked. He didn't care about this failure's life. Only his for now. You have my permission to do whatever you like. Kill her, sell her. As long as the Byakugan's secret won't get away. Much to the shock of the few Hyugas present, Tsunade marched toward him and flickered him with one finger. Soon, a bullet known as Hiashi was sent to the wall. Please, I beg of you, don't kill Hinata-sama. Jiraiya looked to the voice and was shocked that it belonged to his Ashi's son, Neji. The toad sage felt a bit guilty about it, so he went to the teen's ear and whispered, "You don't have to worry, Niji. I would never claim the life of an innocent child. I'll get her out of this hell. I swear it on my honor as a shinobi." Niji smiled at this while Hiruzen pulled off a paper from his robe. Hiashi signed this paper. It was not a quest. It was an order. Hiashi could easily tell. So, he did the only logical thing. He signed the paper that he banishes his own daughter and with his own free will. Your mistreatment of your own child is shameful. But perhaps you have no shame. Since you signed this paper that releases her from your care, she'll become a ward of the village. I could care less of that soft-hearted failure. I knew this would happen. Well, in case I didn't tell you, Senju Tsunade Haim and Yuuhi Kurenai-chan already signed for adopting her in case you banished her out of your clan. Hiashi's eyes widened upon hearing this. He was too hasty. Something he now fully regretted. Now the secrets of the Byakugan will get out of his clan and he can't do anything about it. "Can't I get my daughter back?" Tsunade snorted in disgust. He didn't care for his daughter as much as he cared for the prestige of his clan. Something she could barely tolerate. "Oh, so now she's your daughter? If you try and brand her that cage bird Juin, you'll have to pass through me." She positioned herself between a still shocked and speechless Hinata and Hiashi. She was truthful when it comes up to protecting the girl that liked her grandson. Hiashi chuckled however. "So, if Kurenai-san, let's say have an accident, I can get Hinata back, can't I?" Before anyone could react, a silver-haired jonin was grabbing Hiashi by the throat and had a lightning blade in his other hand as he spat venomously. "Try your damn luck. Anything happened to Kurenai, you will pay the ultimate price. Be it you or anyone else." Hiashi's eyes told the whole story to Kakashi, who snorted in disgust. Jiraiya however left along Tsunade as he glanced to Kakashi with "we need to talk" look as the Senju clan head Shunshined with a timid Hyuga to the Senju compound. Hiruzen sighed yet again. "I'm disappointed in you, Hiashi-san. Perhaps it's time to tell Niji-kun the truth." Niji however shook his head. Hiruzen Shunshined with the young Hyuga outside the compound. As Niji went inside, Hiruzen smiled inwardly. "Naruto-kun, you're a true friend. I hope the day you surpass me will be soon." Some hours later, Naruto shot from the couch like a jack-in-the-box unleashed from his confinement. He ran through the house until he reached the massive main dining room. Much to his surprise, Hinata and Kurenai were sitting. "Yo. Not to be rude or anything, but what are you doing here, Hinata-chan?" Jiraiya sighed as the timid Hyuga blushed. They were just talking about the blonde-masked Senju. Well, you see, Tsunade Haim went to pay a little visit to the Hyuga compound and she conducted up to Hinata Sensei Hiashiwa a little bit further. Naruto raised his left eyebrow in utter confusion as Kurenai told the whole story to Naruto. The blonde kid lowered his head, making his bangs hide his eyes perfectly. Once he showed his eyes again, his usual half-lidded eyes changed to a look of rage. "Everyone, prepare yourselves. We're being invaded. Multiple hostiles." Jiraiya focused his senses only to realize how true Naruto's words. The blonde kid smirked however. This was the perfect occasion for him. Page Bunshin no Jutsu. A group of 20 shadow clones appeared before them as Naruto nodded his head once. Much to everyone's surprise, 10 clones rushed out by the window as the other 10 just sank to the ground. Well, compound's floor. Let's wait now." Soon, everyone heard many yells of agony and pain. Naruto however went directly to the bathroom. Hinata didn't understand why Naruto was hurling his last meals with a passion. Tsunade frowned however. Her baby son just did the unthinkable and defended their home. As she went out, she figured that Kakashi was helping him to defend the compound as the silver-haired jonin was laying on his back as he read an orange book. "Lokuten, Sashiki no Jutsu, cutting jutsu, is scary. Don't you think so, Tsunade-sama?" "Kakashi? What happened?" Why Naruto was retching his soul out. He had his first kill. 10 intruders. 5 killed. He did not show any mercy. Or should I say his clones dispelled after taking 5 lives. Tsunade was shocked at this. Naruto was only 10. Yet he killed 5 people. This is gonna be one hell of a trauma for him. So, I'm gonna play psychologist again, huh? At least he won't freeze face of the danger in his first real mission. The other 5. Ibiki will love to do his job I guess. If they're hired tools then I won't waste their lives. You know the Kakashi. The silver-haired jonin nodded his head as he shunshined to the T&I debriefment. Ibiki and Anko will cook the intruders nicely and very slowly just for him. Not a second later, Naruto went to Tsunade. When he saw the skewered corpses, he almost retched yet again. "This is what I will do a couple of years later." Tsunade looked at him with sympathy in her eyes. Her grandfather once told her that she will take some lives. Or rather left a letter to her before his fateful fight with a certain Uchiha Madara. She now sighed as she tried to soothe her grandson. "Naruto-kun, this is for the best. This is called being a man. You wanted to be a shinobi, didn't you?" "Yes, but I didn't want to become a monster." "You're no monster. That's what the ignorants think. You did the right thing. Defending your family. Taking someone's life. All he had and all he would have. This is what being a shinobi means. Tsunade frowned at this. Naruto was lazy and stubborn. Just like his parents on the stubbornness part. Look, this is normal. Hashirama Ajayi-sama took lives 3 years younger than you, in self-defense. This is not different. It is. I could have bound them with any other jutsu. You felt they were too evil, didn't you? That was like a slap on his face. He knew that now he had no other choice but to admit that I did. They were leaking pure hatred to Hinata-chan. I just lost it. I didn't want to take any chance. And now I regret. Only a cold-blooded murderer wouldn't regret, Gaki. Naruto smiled as he knew who was talking to him. Jiraiya-chan. So, I'm not a murderer now? No, you're not. If it is self-defense or to protect someone close to you, then you shouldn't regret it. Look at me. I'm happiness incarnated, and yet, I've done many hideous things in the name of self-preservation. You know how to talk, silver-tongued Iro-senin. Jiraiya crestfallen at this. He muttered something about getting no respect. Naruto-kun. Are you alright? Naruto's eyes widened as he knew that Hinata was outside. He rushed to her immediately after telling Jiraiya via his eyes don't tell her. As they got in, Kurenai grabbed Naruto's arm as she gave him the "we need to talk." Look. As they went to the living room, leaving Hinata in the kitchen. So, Naruto, how does it feel now? Honestly. I felt great, thank you. No, really. I'm not kidding, you know. Naruto smiled. He was honest about being better. Jiraiya-chan told me the right words, I guess. I mean, I felt horrible at first. But now, I won't think twice if any of my friends are in danger. Jiraiya-sama have his way with words. Doesn't he? He's the author of one of the best adventure books I ever read. I might tell him to give Hinata-chan a copy. Also, if my memory serve me right, he's the best sensei I can think of. Too bad he doesn't want the hat. I'm more than sure he would be the best Guardian we can dream of. Wasn't your dream to be Hokage? Naruto beamed at this. It was his dream. But now, he's very close. If he wanted to, he can easily be a Chunin material. But for the ones like Hashirama, he can only be a genin. The long road I can think of. Also, I might have too many rivals. But they should be warned. I don't take it kindly to be controlled like a tool. I might even unleash this guy if I have to. But only if someone who doesn't care for his subordinates get the hat. Kurenai's eyes widened. Is this lazy kid really 10? Kakashi told her that it would be his greatest honor to be Naruto's sensei. Only now she realized why. Naruto can be a lazy bum. But he thinks like an Anbu captain or a Jonin sometimes. So, if there's someone who wants to be Hokage and he's weaker than you, yet he can manage the job, what would you do? Well, Kurenai-nichan, I told you already. If you have the will of fire and a code of honor, I won't mind. If not, his life is the price if I must. Since when you're this mature? Since I live with 2 Sannin, an ex-Anbu captain, a Jonin, and being visited by the second strongest Hokage. You knew all those people. Since when? Since I remember. Then, I met Hinata-chan. You know, Kurenai-nichan. I can live with her for another million years. But I can't see her more less than a best friend. Yet, Ino is like an annoying twin sister I want to protect with my life. Hinata-chan however is I dunno. Kurenai giggled as she saw Naruto struggle with words. To be innocent and very young. Yet this young and innocent child had a heavy burden since his very first hour. Add the trauma he almost had. We'll talk about it another day. I guess. I mean, I don't understand yet, do I? As the two walked into the kitchen, Hinata was eating another bowl of ramen. Naruto smiled, or rather grinned behind his mask. Like him, Hinata was an avid ramen fan. Hinata, can I tell you something? Hi, Kurenai-san. Kurenai took a deep breath as she thought about what she should tell her little sister figure. About Naruto, he's a good guy. And soon enough, he'll end up as a good man. He can mature at a much faster rate than anyone else his age. Try to be his friend more than anything else. He cares for you, Hinata. He may return your feelings one day, but he's oblivious for now. I hope he won't be astray. Also, if you won't make sure he stays on the right path, he may lose grasp of who he is. I don't really know how to help you, Hinata. But if I were you, I'd try to be as close to Naruto as I can. Hinata was stunned by the fact that Kurenai was giving her those advices, encouragements, and push to the right direction. The woman was close to her, but this was more like a mother advising her own child. Little did she know that a certain one-eyed Jonin was the reason for this. Kurenai-san, thank you. Hinata-chan. I thought I should show you something just in case. So, you don't misjudge me like many people does or run away screaming. Naruto's eyes showed clear fear and uncertainty. It also showed a bit of despair and shame. Yes, Naruto-kun. Remember how they told us that the Kyuubi was dead? How the Yondaime gave his life to kill? Well, one of them are a lie. Then Naruto-kun, don't tell me. Naruto sighed as he removed his shirt. Or rather raised his short up a little while focusing some of his chakra. Soon enough, a seal appeared on his stomach. He explained the reason as he pointed to his stomach. Here is where the Kyuubi lives. Ever since my very first hour. Also, this is half the reason I wear this mask. But I can't show my face to Kurenai-nichan, unfortunately. Kurenai took it as her invitation to leave. Hinata, do as I told you. You don't have to think a lot about it. Naruto then removed his mask. As he smiled, his canines were more of a 2 pairs of fangs than 2 pair of canines. Also, he had 3 whiskers like mark on each cheek. Hinata smiled a bit at this. Naruto's face was almost forgotten at the academy. The fact he showed her his face meant that he trusted her. Naruto-kun, it doesn't matter to me. He is not your mind nor soul. If you ask me, I'd say that you're a hero. You protect everyone from the Kyuubi's rampages. Also, you don't have to be ashamed if you're CC cute. Naruto put a mask on again as he frowned. He didn't like the cute part one bit. Hinata was cute, yes. But him? What's so cute about his fangs and whiskers? Really, Hinata-chan? Cute. Before she knew, Naruto was tickling her with a vengeance. The shy Hyuga girl laughed hysterically as she begged the masked blonde to stop. He stopped however to do something that made her even more scared. And then Naruto-kun, why are you? No. Not my Hyuga. After a good 10 minutes, Naruto stopped as he laughed a bit. Hinata panted as she tried to get her breath to normal again. Hinata-chan, will you ever call me cute again? Hinata shook her head hastily. Naruto grinned at this behind his mask. That's what I thought. You know what's cute? You if your hair was longer. You would be the definition of cuteness. Poor little Hinata fainted on the spot leaving Naruto to a panic attack. A week later, Hokage's tower. Hiruzen was not happy one bit. First was the Uchiha's failed massacre 3 years ago. Now was the attack on the Senju compound a week ago. Unlike last time however, the attackers weren't some John Doe. This time however, the surviving attackers were from the Hyuga branch family. Even though they refused to talk, it was clear that they were some hired tools. He made a good and deep analyze of the situation. Tsunade would never forgive them. At the same time, Niji, who took his role as the secret branch family leader, would trade his life with them. The other 5 were definitely from the main family, as their Byakugans were not sealed despite their death. Shizune was great at her job as an autopsy medical ninja. Naruto however was the problem. Hiashi made it clear that he would kill whoever killed his family members. Imagine his shock how they were disposed by a 10 years old. Imagine his fury as how he can do nothing as they were attempting an attack on the Senju family. Despite the fact he remained quit, his fury was evident as the Hokage's words rang into his ears. I can't do anything. Once someone in a clan is attacked within their compound with no provocation, whoever the attacker is, if brought down, would be considered as an enemy to Konoha. Even a Sannin and Anbu captain are no exception. So, I can have Tsunade's and Kakashi's lives. No, you can't have any backup on this. If you want to try your luck, you're welcome. Hiashi excused himself as he went out. Hiruzen swore that he heard the swearings that doesn't exist even in the dictionary of profanity. So, here he was. Waiting for Tsunade's answer about the lives of the Hyuga that were captured. Well, sensei, how can I say this? To be frank, I want to rip them asunder. However, since they were obviously hired tools, I drop all charges and forgive them on one condition only. They tell me where can I find the Jaikin scrolls. Hiruzen smirked at this. It seems that Hinata was lucky to be adopted by Tsunade. That girl had a fire in her eyes. And Tsunade may be the fan that make the said fire burn even stronger. Tsunade-sama. I beg of you, spare my brethren. Niji entered and was bowing his head down to Tsunade. Tsunade immediately grabbed the Hyuga kid and raised his head. Niji, I don't intend on taking their lives. But since you're here, can you tell me where I can find the Jaikim scrolls? If I do, will you let me help training my Amautu, Hinata, to be strong enough to be worthy? Tsunade smirked. This may be good. She harbor no ill will toward the aggressors. However, whoever sent them will have hell to pay. Well, I see no harm in it. If you can beat Naruto that's it. But he's 1 year younger than me. So? I knew many kids who were solid jonin by his age. He may be Chunin level. But you may surpass any Hyuga in the right time. Beside, you and Hinata hate that curse more than anything. If you ask me, this will be a great way to benefit both of you. Also, Naruto is the only one who can rival Hinata. Niji's eyes went wide with that. True, Hinata had grown up almost as strong as him. But Naruto keeping up? This would be bad. If what Sasuke told him about Naruto was half true, he may lose his life. Don't worry. A simple taijutsu spar with no chakra. Just dodge and try not to block. I see. Thank you Tsunade-sama. I shall be ready. Also the scrolls are kept inside. I see. Thank you, Niji-kun. Sensei, I, Senju Tsunade, head of the Senju clan, forgive the aggressors and drop any persecution against them. Hiruzen nodded as he stamped the papers that released the imprisoned Hyugas. Naruto told him 1 week ago that he regretted what he did. Ibiki may fail to break their will, but he knew one thing, they were hired by the now deceased aggressors. Senju compound meanwhile, Jiraiya, Kakashi, and even Tenzo were shocked how Naruto was training for 3 days and 3 nights non-stop. Whatever it is, it will be bad once revealed. Jiraiya however was shocked how the kid took several ration pills. Gotta thank Hinata-chan somehow. Her soldier pills are amazing. Very well balanced unlike your mudballs, Tenzo. Tenzo's eyebrow twitched as Jiraiya and Kakashi laughed at him. True, Kakashi told Hinata to make Naruto some soldier pills if she wanted him to notice her. It may go very well, let's hope so. Now, longer hair, check. Food, check. Training next time. Or spend some time together. So, Kakashi, what we gonna do about Hinata's training? Sorry, Jiraiya-sama. Told me something. Naruto interrupted Jiraiya's next speech as he piped himself in. Hiro Jai-chan asked you about Hinata-chan's Jaiken training. Damn it, Gaki. Anyway, I can help a lot with the Jaiken as I trained her father. But the problem is I honestly don't have the necessary data about the Jaiken Hijutsus. So my first unofficial mission is to steal those. I can manage, but I doubt a fly possessing chakra is tolerable. In an exam it can be useful. But now. Tenzo's eyes widened with surprise, making him even more ghoulish. You can do it, true henge. Like shape-shifting everything to the minimal detail. But I can. What's the big idea? Tenzo was still shocked by the news. If you'll have a reconnaissance mission, someone like Naruto will be the greatest asset. Add the Kage Bunshin and Naruto, do you train usually with the Kage Bunshin? That I do. I don't know why Bachan insisted that I use them. It's almost like cheating. Jiraiya laughed at this. Naruto will always be Naruto, no matter what. The said boy jumped into a tree's branch as he laid on his back. Something he was always doing to calm down. Other than training and sculpting wood. But to be connected to nature seemed to him like something he enjoys deeply. The closer he was to Flores, the better he felt. And the same could be said about the trees, flowers, grass. Soon enough, Naruto took a nap. Jiraiya and Kakashi took the still stunned Tenzo and went closer to the compound's house. Or castle. Tenzo, I know what you feel. Naruto have so much power that he may never control. But trust me, he can control it just fine. But Jiraiya-sama, don't underestimate the Kyuubi. If it will manifest one day, even I can't hope to hold it. Kakashi then confessed how he motivated Naruto. Tenzo. I told Naruto that he's the only one who can surpass Shadai-sama, Nidame-sama and even the Yondaime. You're a smooth talker, Kakashi-senpai. No. I was telling him the truth. I won't be surprised if he'll surpass me within the first year as a shinobi. Naruto only lacks experience. Also, he can heal any wound just fine. Jiraiya was shocked by the new information. Did Naruto learn the Shosen, mystical palm, from Tsunade? As if on cue, Hinata suddenly yelped her signature eep as Naruto dropped from the tree's branch. Unintentionally, she skidded as she grazed her foot. Naruto didn't waste a second as his hands glued green while he passed them over the injured spot. 5 seconds later, Hinata was feeling like she never grazed her foot. Thank you, and Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled at his shy friend. She was the only person who can be invisible to his negative sensing radar. You're welcome, Hinata-chan. I should thank you for making some good-tasting soldier pills. I swear, you're a great cook. I don't really think so, and Naruto-kun. Naruto frowned at this. Then he turned to the direction of the compound's gate. Bachan is coming. True to his word, a second later Tsunade arrived. Jiraiya, Naruto, Hinata. We have something to do. Naruto-kun, come with me a second. I wonder what those two are telling each other. Tenzo, please, stay here. Hi, Kakashi-senpai. Naruto and Tsunade finally went to everyone else. Jiraiya looked at her questionably. Something that bother you, Tsunade-heim? Well, it's time to get everything Hinata-chan here have in her old home. Hinata's eyes widened. Senju Tsunade, the princess of the leaf, want her to live with her permanently? Tsunade-sama, why do you want me to move here? That's Hinata-chan, because the Senju clan have the tradition to have 2 heirs. A heir and a heiress. Naruto is the heir of 2 clans. And so will you, if you want. Hinata's eyes widened as she fainted. Will she really realize her dream? To be closer to Naruto and marrying him? Naruto was scared however as he caught Hinata before she touched the ground. Kakashi smiled at the scene. Maybe those two will get married. Okay, I'll do it, Bachan. Now I can do Tobirama Jai-chan's Tajuu Kage Bunshin. Multiple shadow clones will be more than useful. However, I can do it for only 5 minutes. Everyone gasped at this. This was a kenjutsu. Yet a 10 years old was able to do it. What will he do next? Creating a forest from thin air? Or a tsunami? Or a hurricane? Tsunade was afraid now. Her little grandson was growing fast. Exponentially fast. At this rate, he may be Kage level if not beyond before his 2nd decade. Naruto however had one thing on his mind. How to steal the scrolls from the clan that have the all-seeing eye. He will need a diversion. Anything that can distract them. Kakashi Naichin, tell Kurenai Nichin to go ahead with Hinata-chan. Kakashi, Tsunade and Jiraiya looked at Naruto in confusion before they realized his plan. Hyuga compound, later that day. Hinata and Kurenai entered the wolf's den as Naruto dubbed it. True to the senju's words, a main house immediately rushed to Hinata. The shy Hyuga knew exactly what would happen if the man will get her. The caged bird's seal or curse mark. However, the distinctive sound of bones breaking was heard as a powerful punch impacted in the attacker's midsection, who hurtled backward in an astonishing speed. Naruto was the one who protected Hinata. Any of you want to take this chance? Hyuga Hiashi immediately knew everything. The elders plotted behind his back yet again. Soon, several other figures shunshined to Naruto's side. He was shocked how everyone formed a human shield around Hinata. Anyone who touch a single hair of the Senju clan will have to pass through the Uchiha clan first. Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi were the first to scream bloody murder. While both are pacifist, they would never allow anyone they're in debt to be hurt. They'd rather die. And the one who's protected was Senju Tsunade and Senju Naruto. Jiraiya's eyes were terrifying. The eyes of a true sage. Yuuhi Kurenai wasn't smiling. Hada Kakashi was ready for a long fight. And Naruto. His pupils were slits and screaming death. So, how many should we kill? I didn't kill anyone since last week. Seriously Naruto? I had a full month with no spilled blood. You know how bad it is? Shisui, I don't want to kill anyone. All we ask is Hinata's belongings. Itachi, why so peaceful? Hiashi snorted. He was angry, jealous, regretful. But most of all, hateful toward this tight groups that protected his daughter from her very clan. He thought about it. As much as he hated to say it, the truth is that Hinata being banished and adopted was the best thing for her. You got 5 minutes to get out of my sight. You can't do this. We won't even get Kurenai Nichin, 5 minutes are more than enough for me. Taju Ukage Bunshin no Jutsu. Soon, several hundred Naruto appeared as the original screamed one word, charge. An earthquake as strong as an elephant's horde stomped rumbled through the compound as the clones rushed through the many halls. 4.5 minutes later, Naruto rolled a huge scroll that no one saw him pull it off, nor where it previously was. The clones dispelled one by one as they sealed every scroll they had into the main one. What was odd was the fact that only a few clones dispelled. Where were the others? If you were asking, the other clones dispelled since they found Hinata Heim's room. They sealed everything in a few scrolls which I sealed in this scroll here. Pretty handy, huh? Hiashi snapped at this. She's no longer a princess since I banished her. For you Hyugas, this may be true. For this village and my clan, it's the opposite. See you around. A shunshin later, Hiashi looked at the main house. We have a lot to talk about, esteemed elders. Hiashi-sama, the Jaikin scrolls. They're gone. What? Hiashi's and every other Hyuga's shock was evident, even in their eyes. Naruto stole the scrolls. For what purpose? For Hinata's sake. I should have known. Senju compound. Itachi, Shisui, why did you two help us today? Tsunade-sama, we owe you a debt we can never repay. I in particle owe you more than my life. You healed Ka-san when she needed you the most. For this, I don't care if I die for you or Naruto-kun. This is the least I can do. Naruto frowned at this. Shisui however, smiled. Cheer up Naruto-kun. No one died, right? Naruto shook his head playfully. Shisui may be one of the strongest jonin he ever met. Itachi had surpassed him, true. But Shisui was always likable, no matter what. Really, Shisui Naichin? I mean, you're never serious, are you? Shisui laughed at this. Itachi smiled however, as Kakashi shook his head at his two colleagues. He knew very few people who can have a chance to win against them. Itachi, say hi to Mikoto-san and to Sasuke. Will do. I must leave now. Shisui laughed a bit. Then chuckled as he knew where his friend will go. Well, I have to see my son. Kagami can be like Naruto sometimes. What do you mean like me? Hyperactive. Before Naruto talked back to Shisui, the man was gone. Why am I half angry? Why am I half proud? Naruto knew the 2 years old since a year ago when he went to Sasuke's house. Shisui's wife was dying. And young Kagami was with his father. Naruto knew why Mikoto almost adopted young Kagami. The kid was a lot like his ancestor. And Shisui was a good father according to anyone who knew him. Naruto hoped that Kagami won't be like Kakashi too much. The next day, Naruto looked at his grandfather with a hint of anger in his eyes. Jiraiya told him that it's time to meet his tenant. Naruto initially refused to rely on a power that's not his. Unfortunately, Jiraiya reminded him that he would have no choice, as the fox may be the best power source anyone can get. Finally, Naruto agreed to meet the fox for one reason, only to know him. In his mindscapes, Naruto walked through what seemed to be a sewer overgrown with many vegetations. He found many vines, moss, ferns, roots, and even some small trees and fungus. As he felt a massive power source, he went toward it. He finally reached the massive gates, which a terrifying power was behind it. Naruto focused 1 second as he felt two things, a massive chakra like no other mixed with something else as he went closer. He took 1 step backward as a massive clawed hand-like paw impacted with the gate. I would have already torn you to shreds. But for some reason, your chakra is like that Hashirama brat. And Ashura. So, I may listen this once why you're here. I'm here for one reason only. To know you. I guess Kyuubi was never your real name, was it? Also, who's Ashura? Why should I tell you? I know your name already, brat. Also, I told you my name in one of your dreams. Naruto sighed. This won't be easy. He pondered in his mindscapes trying to remember the name. It wasn't long as his eyes shot open. Kurama, huh? I find it fitting you for some reason. Kurama was taken back by surprise. How come a human compliment him? Don't you dare and lie like them. I know you humans enough for that. All you want is my chakra, my power. All you say is Kyuubi this, Kyuubi that your greed, hate, lust, all of your emotion are bare to me. I know that you feel angry and a bit hateful sometimes, kid. Well, not all of humans are the same, are they? You seem to like Ashura a lot. I won't judge you. Look, I've came here with an olive branch in my hand, not a sword. Naruto then produced an olive tree from the sewer's floor, then cut off a branch which he picked up with his right hand. His left hand rested on the stump as he made the tree grow another branch. Heh, your kindness kind of amused me for a reason. So really, did you want my chakra? Naruto shook his head as the fox raised a non-existent eyebrow. Then Naruto replied, I'd rather not use it, Kurama. I mean, I don't want to borrow a power that's not mine in the first place. Also, I don't think it's nice to steal someone's chakra. I don't want that to happen to me, so definitely not you. Also, I wanted to ask you about many things. Like why do you think all humans are the same? I mean, Hinata-chan is different. I could never sense her negative emotions like many persons but one or two. This lack of flaws. I mean, she's like someone special to me. You'll understand that one day. Also, ask your perverted gramps about senjutsu. When you do, I may tell you more. Now go, Naruto. And I hope you won't be like the other two stubborn hotheads. Naruto's eyes shot open as he glared at Jiraiya. The Toad Sage knew he made a mistake. Jiraiya-chan, what's senjutsu? Jiraiya was shocked at this. The fox told his grandson about that of all things. You see, I think you must check with your Gakiet. Naruto's eyes narrowed at him. This was definitely something big. Not that he was complaining, but the fox was adamant on that. Look, we have two choices, you tell me, or he tell me. What is it gonna be? Jiraiya was trapped between the hammer and the anvil. Alright. Listen, about senjutsu do not try it under any circumstance until I tell you that you're ready. Naruto was annoyed by this. He was originally going to say something. But Jiraiya's expression was serious. Deep inside, it scared him. Okay. I understand. I won't seek it out. Jiraiya sighed in relief. He knew that Naruto was a powerhouse. But now, the kid was only 10. Senjutsu is the art of sensing and using nature's energy to become a sage. It's also known as Senin mode. However, it's unbelievably hard. Even I am not a perfect sage yet for a reason. What's nature's energy? The energy that circulates on the planet. In the air, water and earth. Naruto's eyes widened. His three affinities. But don't mistake it for chakra. Nature's energy replenish. Also, it requires extreme chakra level, more than my own. Naruto frowned at this. Jiraiya was one of the very few people who have more chakra than himself. Also, bear in your mind that it requires you to be ready physically. Meaning when I tell you that your body and chakra are ready, then you can train in senjutsu. So, you remember when I told you that I have a surprise to you? Naruto noted again as Tsunade appeared with Hinata. Jiraiya, you can give it if you want to. Jiraiya smiled at this. Tsunade finally gave her blessing to him, taking Naruto as an apprentice for a little while at least. Well, see this scroll? Naruto's eyes widened as Jiraiya unfolded the scroll, revealing 4 names, among them himself and his sons, Minato, signed in blood. Naruto knew what contract it was. Toad summoning contract. Sign your name and your blood and leave your fingerprints. Once you do, I'll teach you the hand seals necessary to the Kuchius no Jutsu, summoning jutsu. Naruto did as Jiraiya told him before he looked at him with a questionable facial expression. So, about the Rashomon. Tsunade knew what he was going to say. She once told him about her grandfather's abilities. So, she explained it to him. About the Rashomon, it doesn't require a contract. Only how to do it. Naruto smirked at this, however, he was pulled inside his mindscapes. So, you'll summon toads, Naruto. You know about senjutsu now. I do. Why you told me yo ask about it? Because it will help on the long run. Also, I told you that I'm composed of chakra and something else. Well, I can easily draw natural energy inside me. Only one of my brethren have the same ability, although much weaker than myself. Also, Ashura was Jiji's younger son, your ancestor. And the only human I ever respected. Although he wasn't really a human. Anyway, I'm going to tell you something. I can't give you my chakra now. It may kill you. So, Ashura was my ancestor. Cool. Being a descendant of someone that you Kurama respected means that I'm not anybody, am I? Also, I don't need your chakra unless it's either that or death databao. Hardworking guys like me hate to borrow or steal. True child. Listen, you amuse me Naruto. Something that's rare for a human to do. So, here's a deal. When you become a perfect sage, fight me. If you do, my chakra won't hurt you anymore. Why do you want me to win against you? Because if I win you die. Alright. Thanks for the company, Kurama. See you again. But that said, Naruto left Kurama who took a nap while he was thinking about the kid. Interesting brat. Maybe he won't be like the other two after all. Back in the real world, Naruto opened his eyes suitantly. Jiraiya was almost thinking about asking the kid. Then he remembered something. Okay, say, you know how to build a house with your own chakra. Naruto, to everyone's surprise, nodded as he then asked the question. Which kind of house do you want? Show me a design and I will try to mold it. Jiraiya sighed at this as he showed Naruto a large terrain, much to the boy's confusion. Well, a long tunnel-like series of houses that connect the Senju compound to the Uzumaki compound next door. Well, next compound I mean. Tsunade's eyebrow twitched in irritation. Jiraiya was a cheapskate, but this was a lot more than she could tolerate. Enough. Jiraiya, what's wrong with you? I mean he's just 10 for Kami's sake. I think it would be fun. I mean, this can't be a bad idea. Naruto then took a deep breath as he closed his eyes. Once he opened them, his hands blurred with hand seals as he finally slammed them on the ground. Not a second later, a tunnel of houses emerged from the ground. That was easy. It didn't exhaust me a lot at least. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow. True, Tsunade claimed the terrain between the two compounds and even the Uzumaki compound. But the owner was Naruto. Truth be told, she knew if Naruto owned the place, it would stay for a long time, seeing how she would probably gamble it away. Naruto however was gambling just for fun. Well, playing blackjack and poker with her many times in the summer. She realized that whoever was unfortunate enough to gamble against the kid well, he would lose, even if he rigged the whole game. She was impressed how his little grandson's son was this good. She knew that the chakra control exercises and medical ninjutsu, like the mystical palm, would come in handy one day. Naruto was 2 years from graduating. But one thing she hated is the fact that he was the dead last. Well, she knew why. The kid have no interest of showing anything. He was known as Naruto. Not Senju Naruto, not Uzumaki Naruto, just Naruto. Since he didn't have to present his clan, he had nothing to win or to prove. However, no matter how he held off, when it comes up to bullies well, Itachi was merciful. But Naruto on the other hand was ruthless. It was like he wanted just to beat them to a pulp. But one thing that she was sure about is the fact that he wouldn't beat them for his sake. More for someone else's. But in the case of Hinata, it was like he knew only how to beat those who bullied her. She remembered how 3 bullies went to the hospital. Either he broke their arms, legs, ribs. Tsunade knew that Naruto would surpass her grandfather in the right time. When was the question? Now Naruto have the skills of a chunin and quite easily. Well, most chunins are weak compared to her grandfather. Hashirama was known as one of the strongest cages period, if not the strongest. But for now, she was thinking how to help him and Hinata in their quest. Although Naruto was lazy, he was also a hard worker like her grandfather. She hoped he inherited his power and her granduncle's wits. Time skipped 2 years. Academy, noon. It was the final week of the academy for Naruto's class. Naruto was absent like always. Iruka started to worry about his students' well-being. Only for the masked blonde to appear in the doorway, panting heavily. Sorry for being late Iruka-sensei. A black cat was in my way and I didn't want to disturb the poor animal or I may suffer for years by the terrible curse of bad luck. Everyone sweet-dropped at this. Especially Sasuke who knew Naruto better. Matter of fact he met him the morning in a dango shop. He knew why Naruto was either late or absent. Naruto. As a punishment, I will assign you a project. Tell us about the life of Shadai-sama. Hinata shivered at this. She knew Naruto better than anyone. The shy banished Hyuga let her hair grow ever since she met Naruto's friends. Ino knew immediately why Hinata shivered. She became her best friend. True. But she didn't become her rival for one reason, Hinata was a true friend. She never told Ino's secrets directly. She even asked Sasuke if he liked girls with long hairs. Sasuke replied that he simply don't care. Ever since, Kakashi told Hinata to let her hair grow. Hinata's hair made Naruto instinctively try to become closer. He didn't know why. He simply liked it. Well, he minded it no attention for now. Well, Shadai-sama was known as the Shinobi no Kami for his unrivaled skills. So far, only one shinobi was able to be called his rival. Uchiha Madara. Also, Hashirama-sama was known for a unique Kekkei Genkai even among his clan, Mori no Senju. The Mokuton. Just the name of this Kekkei Genkai was able to scare many villages. Even Takigakur sent a jonin among the best in that time, Kakuzu, to assassinate Shodai-sama about some years after the death of his best friend and rival. The jonin failed horribly, and despite the fact that Shodai-sama spared him, his village probably turned on him. This went on for another 30 minutes. In which, the students were attentive to Naruto's story about his ancestor. Well, only Hinata knew for a fact that he was Naruto's ancestor, and that's in short Shodai-sama's Senju Hashirama's life. Iruka was utterly shocked. Naruto knew the life of the first Hokage way too much. Who told him? Then the Chunin remembered who was always with Naruto when he was younger. Okay, this is great. Even I couldn't give such details. Naruto, go to your seat now. Obviously, Naruto's seat was at the back with Hinata. Sasuke still remembered the night his life changed. So far, only Naruto heard the story. More amazingly, he kept it to himself. Sasuke was glad he have one true friend, dare he say a brother. He remembered how the Uchiha compound was attacked by some mysterious Anbu. So far, not even Jiraiya and Shisui nor even Itachi were able to figure out. Maybe they were protecting him. He still remember how the Anbu tried to attack the Uchiha clan. The confusion, the despair. How every Uchiha who was a shinobi was revealed to be dead despite the efforts and the ferocity of the fighters. Only a few shinobis remained. Notably his mother, older brother, Shisui, that girl Izumi. However, he was glad that many Uchiha children, if not all the children, survived. Even though they were few thanks to the idiotic philosophy of interbreeding, they weren't weak. Sasuke swore to repopulate his clan one day or another. He also heard a rumor saying that many orphans were found. That many clan members who were thought lost were found again. At first, he paid it no mind. Now that he remembered, most of them had a weird tattoo on their tongues. While he wasn't sharp like his brother, Sasuke was sharp for his age. As he put one and one together, he still however unable to solve the mystery of that fateful night. He also wanted to know who was Naruto. That kid was an enigma, true. But he was also strong. Sasuke knew that if he was with the same team as Naruto, they would be invincible. He also knew that Naruto was a senju. He knew that because both kids respected the other a lot. Sasuke even acknowledged Naruto's strength. After the classes ended, Iruka asked Naruto the one question he was too curious about. By the way Naruto, who told you all this about Shodai-sama? Naruto smiled. He knew exactly what to answer. Half the truth, literally. Hokage Jaichin told me. He was kind of his apprentice. And he was also the mentor of his granddaughter if you remember, Iruka-sensei. Iruka didn't want to press the matter more than that. Also, he saw Hinata outside waiting for Naruto. He figured that those two either lived near each other, either they were great friends. He had no idea how right he was. Naruto smirked as he walked back home with Hinata. That girl was smart, strong, and amazing even to him at least. Also, he scared each and every boy who tried his luck with a shy girl. Ha even sent some rich brats to the hospital as they thought he would be intimidated. Big mistake. Naruto-kun, can we go to Ichiraku Ramen? Naruto nodded his head repeatedly as Hinata giggled. Naruto can be fun to be with. Not to mention that she had a huge crush on him. She even let her hair grow even for him. Her problem however was that she was too shy. And he was very oblivious. Truth be told, the boy was afraid. Even though he didn't voice it yet, but he was terrified that Hinata looked at him as a brother or only as a friend. Was she any other girl, he would even ask her out. But Hinata lived with him in the compound. Not that he would ever be tired or bored from her company. After 20 bowl of ramen each, the pair went back home. Naruto was mute the whole way. He knew about the tests. And he had a good plan of terrifying many kids. His mischief may lessen thanks to his training, but he was still a prankster at heart. As Hinata greeted Kurenai, Tsunade, Shizune and even Jiraiya, Naruto simply raised his hand as he went into his room and plunged face first into the pillow. Naruto took his much-needed nap. Meanwhile, Hinata talked with Kakashi after the dinner which she didn't eat more a simple entry about one thing, Naruto. Kakashi cared for Naruto. He even viewed him as his little brother. He watched the kid sometimes. But he noticed that since a couple of months ago, he changed. Kakashi knew where the problem laid. He knew that Naruto liked Hinata more than he showed. But if he wanted to be truthful with himself, the blonde senju was afraid. As the silver-haired jonin soon-to-be sensei listened to Hinata's problem, he came up with one solution. Well, the way I see it is that you make him realize that you like him more than a friend. How however, I don't know yet. But I think if you'll spar with him without your coat, he might fall head over heel. Hinata blushed as she fidgeted both her indexes. She was nervous about it. Kakashi eyes smiled at her as he went to his room. Or rather, outside to read Icha Paradise. About 3 in the morning, a blonde-haired masked young senju was training. Or rather, was trying to measure up his skills until sunrise. Naruto trained like he was on a sugar rush, steroid, and an overdose of adrenaline many times, so he can hope to catch up 2 Hokages. One was his ancestor and the other was his father. So for 3 hours straight, he trained in each and every shinobi art he knew apart Fuinjutsu for obvious reasons. That art required time he didn't have. While the art was the second most interesting one to him, apart ninjutsu and the Mokuton specifically, he couldn't waste his time for now. He knew that he have to take down a certain silver-haired chunin who hated him with a great passion. Naruto was giving false information for years. Now it was time to reveal some truths. 30 minutes before sunrise, he went back home only to stop. He realized that there's someone he was too familiar with watching him and trying to approach him. He felt the hesitation in that said someone. "Aheyo, Hinata-chan. What brings you here?" Then Naruto-kun. "Aheyo. I just wanted to spar with you, if you don't mind." Naruto grinned as he heard this. He knew that Hinata was strong. She might be his equal when it comes up to Taijutsu. He knew that she can even beat him if she was a bit more ruthless. "Alright. But under one little condition, you don't hold off against me." Hinata nodded her head as she undressed herself of her coat. Boy, what a sight Naruto had. That girl he liked was developed and blooming early. Were her mounds a B-cup? Hinata noticed Naruto's blush and smiled inwardly. He was interested in her now. Also, it gave her a great advantage against a hard hitter like him. He might be holding off in his spars, but that doesn't mean he won't hurt her without even realizing it. As soon as a leaf fell, the two preteens jumped at each other, exchanging blows. Naruto however was on the defensive obviously. Hinata was indeed the best sparring partner he can ever dream of. She might have a gentle nature, but when it comes up to battle, she isn't lacking any prowess. Over the last 2 years, the timid girl had thrown herself into training. Naruto knew for a fact that her Jiken was top-notch. Enough to rival the senju kata. While Naruto's fighting style was both fast and focusing on breaking his opponent's bones with extreme brute force, Hinata's style was graceful and focus on dealing some internal damage. In short, both styles were scary to anyone who's not familiar with. Naruto almost lost many times in the spar. In the end, his stamina granted him a win. As Hinata stopped her assault and panted, Naruto smiled at her. He knew for a fact that she was strong. He knew that she was never a fangirl. For him that was more than enough to try and be her teammate. Time skip, graduation day, academy, alright class. For the Taijutsu section, I'll spar with you. Any volunteers? A certain Mizuki announced and asked. Naruto had a predatory grin behind his mask. Oh how he hated Mizuki back and with a passion. His plan was to volunteer and beat the life out of that idiot once and for all. Naruto raised his hand as he volunteered to go first. Well, he knew that Hinata can kill Mizuki if she left her mercy. But for her to kill, it would be hard. He remembered how he was almost traumatized by his first kill. Iruka nodded as he saw Naruto take his usual stance like Mizuki. As fast as he said start, Naruto disappeared in a blur with only Hinata and Sasuke watching him. Hinata because she was used to it and Sasuke because he knew Naruto too well. One hit. All it took to knock Taji Mizuki out. One hit from a 12 years old was enough to knock the Chunin out. But Naruto was never a normal 12 years old. Hinata knew that very well. Being subjected to hate is one thing. Feeling that hatred all time and overcoming it is a whole another matter. Naruto learned that from one gentle blue-haired girl 68 days younger than him. Iruka finally overcame his shock and announced Naruto the winner. Naruto just nodded as he went and sat near Hinata. The shy girl congratulated him without stuttering, which was a good start for her. The matches went on and on. Then the ninjutsu portion came. Naruto however had a plan to scare Iruka. So did Sasuke and Hinata. Since Hinata was first, she aced the Kawarimi and Bunshin. As for the henge, she chose Uzumaki Mido. Sasuke henged into Uchiha Madara. Naruto however henged into Hashirama, while his Kage Bunshins chooses Tobirama and Namikaze Minato. Even though Sasuke saw the clear resemblance between the three, many didn't. At the end, even though Naruto's performances were clearly terrifying, he was still the dead last somehow. However, he knew for a fact that Hinata and Sasuke would be on his team at least. A week have passed since the graduation exam. Apart the fact that Mizuki tried to steal the scroll of seals. And failed miserably, as the sandal of Hiruzen had to be surgically removed from his flesh. Nothing major happened. Naruto simply passed his time thinking about his weaknesses. Like the fact he needed to learn lightning and fire nature transformation. Also, the fact that he still had a long way to go in Fuinjutsu, according to his perverted grandfather. But his mind also think of Hinata for some reason he didn't know. Whenever they were away from each other, he felt empty. Like he was in a total vacuum. Something he still didn't understand no matter how hard he thought about it. Also the fact that he was a bit distant from her was kind of bad. During the week, he went to the Uzumaki compound. The problem was that he missed Hinata like crazy. The real problem was that he just don't know if she could, if ever, reflect his feelings toward her. He knew that she considered him her best friend. He knew that she liked his company a lot. He knew that he likes her more than a friend. But he would never give her any kind of wound. He still remember how she was treated cruelly in the Hyuga compound. He knew that from his friend Neji. Well, they didn't get along. After a vicious battle with no hold barred, Naruto won. Neji opened up to him. Naruto did beat the living hell out of the Hyuga prodigy once he knew how he fought Hinata with no mercy. He beated him for committing the sin of idiocy. Naruto considered those who choose to be idiots are sinners. After all, if someone can be smart, then why not try to? And again, after making Neji and the whole branch family soon afterward know that Hinata is the only hope for their clan, he simply felt that he did something good for his oldest friend. Then her own father turned against her. Something he didn't understand to this very day. Then again, humans are mostly a very flawed species that self-destruct flow into their veins, right? So, after the week passed, he went with her to the academy. As they arrived a bit too early, Naruto took a nap only to wake up hearing Iruka announcing his team. Team 7 will be Uzumaki Naruto, Uchiha Sasuke and Hyuga Hinata. Your Jonin instructor will be Hada Kakashi. Naruto smirked. Sasuke smirked evilly. Hinata smiled shyly. Their Jonin instructor is an ex-Anbu captain and ninjutsu expert. No matter what he'll teach them, it would be useful. Team 8 is Haruno Sakura, Aburame Shino and Inuzuka Kiba. Your Jonin instructor will be Yuhi Kurenai. Apart the fact that Sakura was angry about the fact that Hinata took away her Sasuke-kun, which earned her a Fuma Shuriken landing in front of her with a note that says keep him to yourself. Hinata-chan would never date him even to be the Hyuga clan head. Nothing else happened unless Sasuke thanking Naruto under his breath. Team 10 will be Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji and Yamanaka Ino. Your Jonin instructor will be Sarutobi Asuma. Ino sighed. At least she had her two best friends among boys. But she had to make the team move if they wanted to improve. Finally, Sai will join an old team. Team 6 from last year required you. Sai just nodded as Naruto smirked. Sai will join his older brother, Shin, and the Kurama clan heiress. Finally everyone, take an hour break before returning here in class. I hope you can realize your dreams everyone. Naruto simply told his team to take an extra 30 minutes. He knew the Kakashi would be late at least half an hour. When they went back in class, it was empty. Safe for them of course. Hinata used her Byakugan to confirm it. Naruto tried to feel any source of chakra to no avail. While Sasuke tried to hear anything strange. Soon they became bored. Sasuke, Hinata and Naruto pulled a book each and tried to read. Naruto's sensing alerts were waiting for anyone. Hinata and Sasuke seemed relaxed and buried deep into their books, yet look can be deceiving. 10 minutes of reading went only for Naruto to pull out a small scroll. Sasuke raised an eyebrow but did nothing. Hinata used her Byakugan only to mutter quietly that they should be ready. Naruto immediately told Sasuke to put his book away in ninja hand language. The Uchiha did as the senju/Uzumaki said. Hinata's book simply vanished, scaring even Naruto a bit. As the one-eyed Jonin got in, he had an idea what to say. My first impression of you that maybe you're the ones. Rooftop, in 5 minutes. Before any of them reply, he simply vanished in a plume of smoke. Naruto simply went to the window. Really, Baka Tonkachi? He said the rooftops. Naruto shook his head. I think we better walk to him up the wall. I know him enough to tell you that he may have laid some nasty surprises for us. 10 minutes for a Jonin are actually an hour for a Genin. Hinata nodded as she went with him outside and walked up the wall. Sasuke sighed as he decided that maybe Naruto wasn't truly stupid. Maybe it was his mask all along. As they arrived to the rooftops, they realized that Naruto's plan was the right choice. Their future Jonin sensei was eyes-milling at them. You took the right path. The hallways and stairs were rigged with traps. Beside, this way is faster no. Sasuke looked at Naruto who replicated Kakashi's eye smile. The Uchiha wondered if those two were truly related. Hinata blushed as she glanced her crush/housemate. Kakashi took it as his cue. So, my cute little future Genins, care to introduce yourselves? Sasuke surprisingly replied this time while his tone was dripping sarcasm. Wow Kakashi-san. Do we need to reintroduce ourselves? I mean, those two doesn't live with you and Nai-chan didn't tell you anything, nor I told you practically everything last week. Kakashi I smiled at them again as he gave his reason. Well, I was hoping to follow traditions. Sensei is sorry. Anyway, about the test, you passed the first half. I know for a fact how you three trained together. I was going to say siblings, but well I know two of you like each other and are afraid to confess. Before you jump to any wrong conclusion, your feelings are mutual. Naruto's and Hinata eyes widened beyond humanly possibility. Sasuke and Kakashi snickered before Kakashi coughed loudly. The brunette and the blonde immediately looked at him while blushing madly before Naruto asked the question. Since when you knew? And why you never told us in private? Kakashi was decent enough to smile sheepishly. As Sasuke showed no interest at all. Beside, he considered those two as his brother and sister. Well, his very distant, a millennia distant brother and sister. Okay. Now that you two will date each other a few hours later, let me tell you that you all have an individual test. Sasuke will spar with Team 1. Hinata needs to take down Team 2. Naruto, you will steal everything from Tenzo without alerting him before he gets into his house. A sadistic and evil smile and glint in Naruto's eyes scared the three others. Naruto however had just begun. Mokuten, Moku Bunshin no Jutsu. Wood release, wood clones jutsu. Four wooden clones erupted to life as Naruto nodded to Sasuke and Hinata. Without a word, the three graduated students went separate parts. Kakashi created two shadow clones to watch his teams. Well, Sasuke and Hinata. He then shunshined to Tenzo's apparitment. An hour later, Kakashi felt his clones dispel. Sasuke challenged Team 1 to individual spar after getting permission from their Jonin sensei who failed them. The three academy students took the bait and got a very fast defeat. He expected that. He knew that Itachi trained his younger brother sometimes. He knew that was a third of the reason why Sasuke and Naruto are kind of rivals. Hinata on the other hand agreed to fight although reculantly. Needless to say, Team 2's test was to fight Hinata. The team was dysfunctional and Hinata proved that she was skilled. Small wonder as she was able to hold on against a near Jonin level senju. The not really one-eyed Jonin I smiled. Naruto's wooden clones weren't needed after all. Also, it seems that his team was skilled. Well, he would be amazed if they were below Chunin level in skills. Hinata who was supposedly the weakest was easily the third strongest among her age. But then again, an Uchiha and a senju are supposed to be monstrously strong for their ages. Kakashi knew that this team may surpass the Sanin's and maybe even his father in due time. He knew that Hinata may not be weak in any sense. Well, she lacks only self-confidence. Apart that, she needed to learn about nature transformation. Sasuke may need to learn another nature. Naruto however well, that kid who was his surrogate little brother may need to learn more about wind nature. And maybe the two other nature transformation like him. This moment however, Tenzo interrupted his train of thoughts. The wood user greeted him. Hey, Kakashi-senpai. How are you doing? What brings you to my neck of wood? Well, Tenzo you see, I needed to ask you about Naruto's abilities. You know, seeing that you're the only one who can help. About that he learned everything I know. I'm sorry but honestly, now only he can help himself. Wait a second, where did I put my keys? And my wallet? And my money? Naruto immediately appeared from the floor. Kakashi was not surprised one bit. Tenzo however, was startled by this and wondered if Naruto was also of Aburam lineage. Looking for these, Tenzo-sensei? Tenzo was shocked. Everything he lost was in Naruto's hands. Not only that, he knew for a fact that he didn't drop them. So, do I pass, Kakashi-sensei? But flying scores Naruto. Only if Tenzo tell us if he caught you. Kakashi-senpai, I think that I need some explanations. Naruto to his credit was able to hold his laugh for 10 full seconds before he literally exploded. Kakashi told Tenzo about Naruto's test. Then the silver-haired man looked at Naruto with a small hint of sorrow in his eyes. Although you three passed, I need to give you a team test. So, tomorrow at 7 training ground 3. Naruto nodded. Then he disappeared in a shunshin, leaving a spiraling gust of wind, water and leaves. Something that made Tenzo raise an eyebrow. Well, he asked me for an advice about improving his shunshin. Great. All we needed is a second Kakashi-senpai. Kakashi shrugged it off. All that remained was for Naruto to read some Icha novel and ta-da. A second Kakashi as cool as the first. That if Kurenai, Shizune or Tsunade would ever let him try his luck. Well, he knew that if he tried, like Jiraiya did, it would be the mistake of his whole life. He witnessed how those women can turn extremely aggressive when it comes up to the finest literature that ever existed. The funny part was that Naruto loved 2 of the Toad Hermit's books. The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi was definitely one hell of a book. Too bad that a few appreciated it. Kakashi and Naruto and even the late Minato loved that book. For Naruto however, it was his first book. The second book was about Fuinjutsu. Naruto didn't just read the book. He became the book. Unfortunately, the young Senju and Uzumaki couldn't progress more when it comes up to Fuinjutsu. Kakashi found one way to help his student. Well, if his team will pass. As a matter of fact, he kind of lied to them. The team test was obligatory only if the Jonin sensei deemed it so. However, Kakashi knew that this team is Konoha's hope at making the 3 descendants of the Sage of the 6 Paths at the same team. The closest team was Madara and Hashirama. Now it was Naruto, Sasuke and finally Hinata. Kakashi heard about the prophecy of the old Toad Sage. He knew that this team is loyal to Konoha. But he knew that Hinata's kindness, Naruto's compassion and Sasuke's wits can give them something more than they ever dreamed for. Now it was Kakashi's second chance. Naruto pushed him out of the self-pitying pit he was in when the boy was but a toddler. Now it was Kakashi's turn to give the boy all the help he can to put him in the right path. He knew that his future team is a team of hard workers and geniuses at the same time. All he needed was to find a way to improve them even more. For Obito, well, the old Obito. For Rin. For Minato. For Kushina. And finally, for his father, Tsukumo. Kakashi vowed to push his team like an old brother and to be their father figure. The next day, Hokage's tower. Hiruzen frowned as Kakashi was the first to get in. Well, the first among all the jonins, that's it. So, you failed another team? Kakashi I smiled at this. Oh, this is going to be funny. Honestly, they didn't fail. Matter of fact, I'm just late. Well, maybe we should wait for everyone else, Hokage-sama. Hiruzen simply filled his pipe with tobacco and lit it. After taking a few good drags, he released the pent-up smoke, feeling slightly better. By the way, the Anbu are still searching about an unknown suspect who raided many stores last night. Do you know anything about it? Kakashi simply shook his head. Of course he knew. He taught Naruto how to pick locks Anbu style. He didn't know what he was thinking, but it was anything but a good idea. Hiruzen proceeded to smoke more from his trusted pipe, while Kakashi took his opportunity to read Uchiha Violence. That book was a masterpiece. Jiraiya may be whatever you want to say, from pervert to idiot a few times, but he was the best author hands down. As the other jonins got in, Hiruzen looked at them with his give me the report kind of expression. Kakashi spoke first. Honestly, Hokage-sama, I think that I got a team of monsters. Uchiha Sasuke is a solid chunin level. Hinata is a solid chunin at Taijutsu. Naruto, however, is almost a jonin if not for his lack of experience. I think that his file at the academy is only good to be burned down to ashes, to be honest. All the jonins at the room were shocked. Even Kurenai, who lives at the same compound, was taken back. If that wasn't enough, Tenzo added his on his own along with Aoba and Raido. Naruto managed to walk behind me, steal something from me, and disappear unnoticed. If this doesn't qualify him as a jonin, either we're biased, either we're unprofessional. Oh, and Team 11 pass. Sai is pretty good, but he's kind of naive. Team 1 fail. Yesterday, Hyuga Hinata from Team 7 challenged them. Instead of working together, each choose his individual fight. Not only did they lose and fast, but also it was a clean win. Not only that, but today I gave them one of the easiest tests I can think of. None have passed. I can relate Aoba. Team 2 did the same with Uchiha Sasuke. And today, I felt ashamed that I let them pass. None of them was thinking like a genin. Team 3 fail. However, I think they should train harder. Team 4 is simply hopeless to be a ninja. I wonder if the academy is to blame. Team 5 is a nightmare. I asked them to work together and well, it ended up in a big fight. Team 6 should be disqualified to be a team of ninja. I gave them the answers on a golden plate and it ended up in a heated argument, then a fight, then I had to knock them out to stop it from spreading. I think they should work at anything but shinobi related. At least last year Shiho was smart. I guess that karma have its way. Team 8 passed barely. Sakura is smart, but she got knocked out by a genjutsu that should be the easiest to detect. Kiba is way too brash and lacked the stealth of a chunin, however, he chose the team before anything else. Shino is a born leader, but you know about his clan's issues, but at least they showed the necessary judgment. Team 10 pass, although I thought I would fail them. Ino is too bossy. Shikamaru is a genius, but screams laziness. Choji is too kind, but he chose to be the one who go in the academy, thus he passed. Here's inside at this. The reports about the academy was truly a nightmare. Not even Iruka was able to instill the sense of hard work a ninja should have. At least no clan heiress were left out. Okay. Now, I thank all of you. Those who failed their teams, I want a report on my desk by tomorrow's morning at latest date. Those who passed their teams, please stay. As Kakashi, Asuma, Tenzo and Kurenai stayed, Hiruzen took a deep inhale from his trusted pipe. After he enjoyed the aroma of the tobacco, he released his pented-up smoke. So, only 3 teams passed, and 1 got its replacement. Great. No wonder many considered us weak. Even Danzo disbanded his NA. The military police is no more, and the fail rate is sky high. I don't know what you plan on teaching your cute little genins, but if I was in your shoes, I would push them more than I planned. Kakashi was the first to smile. Asuma sighed as he simply lit a cigarette. Tenzo was already thinking what he should teach his team. Kurenai bit her lips. Worry not, Hokage-sama. When I'm done, even Naruto won't be able to do anything but eat his dinner and sleep. Hinata can easily improve. Sasuke have one thing I doubt would push him forward, and I was planning to play shogi and take it slow. Great. Thanks, old man. I think that Shin said many good things about Sai. Beside, they live down the street from my apartment, so, yes. I think I have a good plan, Hokage-sama. To be honest, Hokage-sama, I'm not quite sure if Sakura would be the best addition for the team. However, she may prove herself. Kiba and Shino though needs to develop in more than their clan's jutsus. Hiruzen smiled as his loyal jonins had already a good plan. He simply added before dismissing them. But to see that all of you already have a plan. It warms my heart to see that even my jonins are good enough to be my successors if things go south. Although, I tested my genin's affinities since day 2 to be honest. Just make sure to implement the value of hard work and why it's so important to have a team to balance you and help you whenever you need help. Anyway, I hate to say it, but I have so much paperwork and so few time before my training, so, see you in a week or a month for their first mission. The four Jonins disappeared in four shunshuns as Hiruzen swore that the papers from hell had multiplied. Uchiha compound, Itachi's room. Itachi still wondered who were those ninjas who attacked them. His first suspect was Danzo's Na branch of Anbu. But he knew for a fact that the survivors weren't some Na Anbu. Then he had many theories that ended up being thrown out of the window. Finally, he had one suspect clear in his eyes. The Wagakure was out. No matter how strong, he knew for a fact that it couldn't be from Iwa as none used their jutsus nor Kekkei Genkase. Beside, he knew many Jonins from Iwa either from a mission, especially reconnaissance. Kumagakure may have an interest. Yet, they had no reason to send those Anbus just to annihilate them. True, their Raikage is one vindictive bastard. Yet, he knew that he respected the late Minato more than anyone else. Kiri then? Well, a village divided by civil war and their strongest shinobi going rogue wouldn't bother. As for Suna, Rasa wouldn't sell his soul to the devil he didn't know. The culprit could be anyone. The problem was that he couldn't identify any of a large enough interest unless one twisted-minded as much as, if not more than Danzo, and those kind of people are few. So few he knew them all by name. No name is more interesting than a certain Orochimaru. That guy was just crazy, nuts, insane, and the list goes one all combined in one. And Itachi knew why that guy fled. But he wasn't quite sure that it was only Orochimaru who was the true mastermind. If there's one thing he knew, is that the snake-human hybrid is just a coward who's afraid from death since the time he went rogue. After all, why Jiraiya held off against him. Then he remembered many things and clue which made him lose the tip of the wire so to speak. Sighing in frustration, he simply walked out from his room, many files and plans scattered around his desk. Hokage's tower, Hokage's office, and that Sarutobi is the whole list my investigation led toward. I might be a power-hungry, emotionless, evil, and even sometimes borderline insane, but I had gave your plan a thought and truth be told, you knew better. But honestly, what am I supposed to do to prove my innocence from the Uchiha clan's blood? If you all the Na operatives I have, take off the Juin and let you question them yourself in front of a thermal camera. Hiruzen took another drag from his trusted pipe. The case of the Uchiha clan attempted genocide had almost succeeded if it wasn't for his and Danzo's ambus. Hiruzen however never lost his skepticism toward the elders. Former teammates or not, they didn't share his philosophies. Alright. I know what you can do. Shimura Danzo, I, Sarutobi Hiruzen, Sandaime Hokage of Konohagakure no Sato and Sarutobi clan head, appoint you as the Anbu instructor. Your experience is required to make Konoha great. Do you accept? This may be my last chance of redemption. Maybe it's better than retirement or jail or getting killed. The hat may be the best price, but then again, Sarutobi is right. Tobirama-sensei, what would you've done? I accept my new post. Good to hear this, Danzo. After all, even our experience is required to pass down to the next generation. Let's just hope that Orochimaru won't have a second coming. Let's hope so Hiruzen. By the way, I know two shinobis, an Aburame and Yamanaka with some unusual talent. Want some Jonins? Of course we need all the hands we can get, old friend. The next day, training ground 3. I'm telling you Sasuke that no one but a nutcase can win against Inara and Shogi. So that's why you utterly defeated Shikamaru. Hey. That's offensive. It is supposed to be. Beside, Itachi Nyasen won against pretty much everyone. The only one who's more insane is Kakashi-sensei. Then again, insanity isn't that bad considering our job. Isn't that right, Hinata-chan? Hinata simply nodded while resting underneath a tree stump. She didn't tell Sasuke that there's no fighting Naruto unless you are above Chunin level. While Naruto was close to a Jonin in term of skills, he was lacking the ability to cast a Jinjutsu. Also, his Taijutsu was never the best since it relies on brute strength. Okay. What did you do to my younger sister? Just a spar. What's wrong, Sasuke-ero? Sasuke twitched dangerously as Naruto waved his hands defensively in front of him. Take it easy. You know that it's my way to tell people that I like them. Sasuke sighed at this. Naruto will either drive them nuts or to the edge like a lemming or to the grave. So? You never told me about what Jiraiya-sama is doing. He's still investigating and spying on many things. I swear that he's the only one who have as much chakra as I do last year. And he's the only person to be easily distracted. At least he doesn't do something twisted. Sometimes I wonder the sanity of many shinobis. Mikoto Basin and Tsunade Bachin are sane. Hinata-chan is sane and wise. Shizune Nichin is surely reliable and sane. Why am I feeling that you don't want to talk about the others? Naruto simply shrugged it off as he shook his head. Because those are the ones I'm sure about them. Sasuke sighed again. Say, never thought about a dream. HN. Burning Konoha to the ground. HN. Finding world's peace. HN. Going on a date. HN. Great. Avenging the ones. You know that it is my duty. That I know. So, what's the real one? Your true dream? Naruto had a true smile as he told Sasuke and Hinata about his true dream. The family. For some unknown reason, Hinata passed out while she had the brightest smile any girl can have. Naruto tried to wake her up only for Sasuke to shake his head. Kakashi was watching the whole scene from above. He simply smiled as he read his trusted book, Icha Paradise. Kurenai allowed him to read it only if he was away from anyone else. Well, he wasn't going to look in a gift horse's mouth. The next day, Hokage Tower. So, we'll pick option C. I make a few cage bunchins. Kakashi sensei's bunchin order them around, everyone win. We don't lose a day doing chores, but we also complete the mission. How is that a bad idea? Iruka palmed his face. While Naruto's idea wasn't wasting any time, it's still debatable if it could be truly a good idea. D ranks are missions that were designed to build teamwork above anything else. But Team 7 was closer to be a family than a team. This is truly a genius idea. But then again, it's against the rules. Rules are just a word. But this is the best shortcut I heard about. Naruto smiled as Hiruzen took the bait. He knew that his idea would be the best shortcut for his team. After all, being an errand boy would definitely make his teammates angry. Hinata thanks to her father. Sasuke, well, being Sasuke. Kakashi smiled at this. Naruto was simply very Jiraiya-like. Creative and always picking the only option no one would expect. He may no longer be a hyperactive loudmouth bratty shinobi, but he was taking the path to be a legend. Rule 1, no rules. Rule 2, shortcuts are the best ways. Rule 3, expect the unexpected. Kakashi doubted that Naruto was always adopting those rules in his life. After all, Jiraiya himself adopted them for years. Look at him now. He was a dead last, and now everyone knows better than to cross him. Also, it doesn't hurt that he was the best author in their world of adult books. Now then, Team 7, mission assist the farmers at their harvest, approved. The 4 ninjas nodded as they went off to accomplish their mission. With Naruto's few hundred bunchins, time wasn't against them. 2 weeks later, Hokage's tower. Sasuke gave Naruto a glance. The Uchiha was now sure that his teammate was always thinking outside the box. Their mission to capture Tora was a snap. Catnip and fish was Cat's charm. And it worked against that demon cat called Tora. Mission retrieve lost pet accomplished, Hokage-sama. If it is not too much to ask, I think my team is ready for a little C-rank mission. Hiruzen smiled a bit. Team 7's growth was scary. While every genin team progressed, Team 7 was terrifying when it came up to progress. Maybe because the 3 genins are among the best any village can dream of. A senju, an Uchiha and a Hyuga. Add a Kagaya, and the team of the Sage of the Sixth Path would be ready. I don't see any problem. Bring in Tazuna-san. As an old man wearing an A-tank, a short and a straw hat entered, Kakashi immediately smelled troubles. What is this? I asked for a team of ninjas, and all I get is 2 brats and a blind girl. He was rudely interrupted by the sound of 2 shuriken, cutting the sake bottle cleanly in 3 pieces. And Naruto was livid with pure undilatable rage. Add mouth Hinata-chan again, and you'll see firsthand what kind of brats we are. Kakashi griped his student's shoulder. Naruto was just slightly calmer. But if that old man would try it well, he'll dig another hole. So, what do you think, Tazuna-san? Tazuna simply nodded. For once, he was terrified from that blonde masked kid. Okay team. See you tomorrow at the gate, 10 AM and don't be late. Sasuke simply went home. Naruto and Hinata however took the scenic route to Ichiraku Ramen first before going back home. Little did the team knew that this mission will take them to the next level. What if Naruto has senju and water? Would release. Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.